Okay, we're live. Now I gotta get the chat up somehow. I was just live on TikTok. My phone died, so I'm like, fuck it, let's do it. Let's do it. How do I go to my current live? Oh, here we go. Greetings from Germany. There we go. How are you doing? Okay. Just want the chat. Pop out chat. There we go. England, what's good? From England, what's up? Goland, what's up? We got people in Germany and England. I was actually just in Germany. Thank you, Future Nobel. Thank you for the kind words. Let me know if you're going through anything right now, or if you tell me what you're doing, tell me about your business, ask me any questions you might want to ask. I don't go live often, but for some reason in my body, I just wanted to today. I was on TikTok live where I just went for an hour and a half walk. I was like, bro, what a shame. I've got such a great camera. I've got such a great microphone. I couldn't think of any ideas to shoot like a normal video. So I was like, let's just go live. The ideas will flow. So I am a sim, right? So that's what we do as sims. We go live. Mm-hmm. And I have my mic set up so that if I get closer, it stays at the same um, volume. And then if I even get further away, like this, you could still hear me. Like right here, you could still hear me. How cool is that? I could be petting my cat over here, and you could still hear me. Guys, llmacademy.com. I have one video out of hundreds that explains my exact OBS setup for perfect audio and quality for recording videos and for using your Shure SMB. Now I am on auto on my camera, so it is no S log here. I got a light here, but yeah, we've got the perfect audio settings. It'd be a shame if I didn't sit in front of this thing every freaking day. Thank you. Tax return. You're getting a tax return, bro? I'm not. I got to give taxes. I got to give my money to the government on the 15th. You get money back? I just got back from the Yeezy concert. I'm repping the Yeezy merch. Let's go. Let's go. Great questions. We got great questions coming in. All right. And I am going to be tapping back into the high level community. You guys might see my face in some videos with other high level people. I use it. I've been paying for it for 3 years. I never really wanted to teach people how to make money online, right? I usually teach people who already make money how to systemize their business. So I'm like, bro, I have so many snapshots. If I gave snapshots, they wouldn't be like for starting an agency. It would be like a booked call funnel. a digital product funnel that I spent freaking like 20 hours on. Like those would be the assets that you get from me. They would be like professional assets for companies that, already make money and stuff. So I still got to figure it out. I've been talking to Declan about he's the number one high level affiliate. He had me create a new sub account under his. He's maybe gonna help me just promote what I'm good at and then have affiliates and then have them go towards his community. But thoughts on high level, but selling the niche snapshots, just software initially, but upsells later. So if your intellectual property is niche snapshots, like I just said mine is, I didn't even read your comment yet, I would become an affiliate, right? So we have a video on my YouTube, best fucking video ever. It is a shame. It's not a shame that it doesn't have that many views. It's actually good. It's the fact that it's gate kept. I love shit that's gate kept, right? I want to be gate kept. So I have a video on my YouTube with the Ravi Abuvala, scaling with systems, right? $1 million a month guy. And he talks about how he was white labeling high level and giving his clients a snapshot. That was his like 12K offer, was we'll help you build your VSL and run your ads and all that. And it was kind of done with you. But a majority of it was his snapshot and high level. And so there's this video. If you go look at it, it's probably because of the title, thumbnail. That's why I didn't get many views. But to this day, I still rewatch it. And so that what he said is he was sunsetting, which means getting rid of his product offering as a software, and instead he was high level is now at the point where they have enough money. They have a whole department for onboarding people. They have a whole department for support. He didn't want to handle the support, but he had the snapshots and the assets. So instead he would refer his clientele. He just changed his SOP, right? From onboarding with his own tool and charging monthly for it to making his process use this CRM tool. And here's my snapshot. So much better. And that's what I'm going to try and do too, because I have some pretty amazing snapshots. But yeah, I'm not going to sit here and white label like I used to. If you're getting started out, it's great. But I'm at a point, I'm not white labeling high level. So it makes the most sense if you've got snapshots to become an affiliate. And even if it's just like 20 people you sign up, my apartment is paid for every month by high level because like 3 years ago, I made like 5 videos going over high level and I onboarded people into high level, right? So a little bit, you see some people making a lot, but a little bit, bro, I'm blessed. You can use the SM7DB wireless. Let me look that up. What is the SM7DB? This is the one I have. Yeah, this is pretty sure SM7DB. I'm pretty sure, yeah, this is what I have. I'm not sure about wireless. I have an XLR cable. A lot of my filters are done in OBS to get it to sound this clear. But I didn't know that you could. How do you use this thing wireless, bro? So yeah, I think I just don't want to tell people, oh yeah, go become a high level affiliate, become a marketer, become a content creator. But if you already have clients that aren't like you're doing another service, you'll realize that you're like, what, you don't have a CRM? And you're just going to be either way referring people to high level. So you don't have to make it your whole personality, but definitely like create a pipeline or a funnel that's going to go ahead and, onboard a few people here and there into high level and you get paid for it. Bring back the X spaces. Yeah, maybe we'll do one soon. The issue was the first one we had crushed it, and I love how we can take it and turn it into an asset that lives on forever, right? So one of my favorite YouTubers, he doesn't make videos anymore. He just goes like spizzes on spaces for 5 hours. His name's Zerka. He's like a spiritual guy. And then I just tune into the recordings of them. There's no video or anything. It's just the recording. And I find that was like an amazing, if anything, an amazing sales process, right? So obviously the goal isn't sales, but I hyped up the first spaces to like all the people in my network. So if you go and watch the video, we didn't have just some normal chuds on stage for the first one. We had a guy with 500,000 followers, a famous guy, Los, who has built and sold $1 million businesses. We had like really niche conversations about online money. And it was because I was able to initiate so much excitement towards, I had to call like 5 people and like hype them up about it. So then we tried to run it the second day, and that hype was gone. So we only had like 5 people join. I know I said just like this. I don't care how many people join, right? It's recorded. It's an asset later. So I was like, okay, maybe we don't need to do these every day, but we should definitely be doing them more often. It's just that the internet money guys, I have to onboard them to Twitter first. Like a majority of the guys you saw that were joining had like fresh Twitter accounts. So if no one's using X, it's hard to get these people in my network like Dom and Los and these great connections that I built through being an influencer. They're not on X, so we got to onboard them onto X. But I will. Los, when Los and I get together, we could talk for hours, and we talk truth, value. So Los and I have been talking about doing more spaces, maybe even doing a podcast, but I appreciate your feedback, and I'll definitely let him know. Hey man, been on and off keeping up with AI money making last summer. Last summer was all about making N8N workflows. What's the current trend? F the trends. You don't want to be a trend. Trends come and go. Okay, so I stopped the trends a while back. You saw Claudebot was like a big, distraction for a month. I didn't make any videos about it except for the fact that it was a distraction. So if you're seeing it and it's a trend, bro, it's cooked. So that's why Declan can make so much money with the affiliate program on high level. It's because it's not a trend anymore. He gets 2,000 views per video and he's making 100K plus a month from the affiliate space because it's so niche. The single keyword he uses of go high level reaches the entire TAM, total addressable market of high level. So you don't want to be with the trends. What I've noticed throughout these trends is the same thing, is that AI automation is not at a point yet that it provides more value than simple business ops integrations. So I just made a video on it, like how to be an AI automation expert without LARPing. It was no AI. I sat there for an hour with like a Miro board explaining the entire offer. So I would check that out. But yeah, companies, if anything, you kind of want to be the anti-hero. You want to be the one that's like, have you seen all the distractions? Have you seen all the trends? These guys don't know what they're doing. What we're going to do is we're going to take a process in your company that right now you're failing to meet certain KPIs. We're going to identify why that problem exists, if it's systems, if it's people. And then from there, we're going to build out systems using no-code tools. No AI yet. Maybe you use AI to help you, but there's no AI in the workflow itself. And we're going to just combine like 10, 15 integrations, document how they work, set them up inside the company, train you on how they work, and leave. That's what works. There's people inside of our community, which is LLM Academy, it's linked in here, that are closing like $20,000, $25,000 deals. There's a guy who's doing this with like enterprise because he's obviously an older guy. He's in the enterprise space. He's doing $100,000 year contracts being a COO. Yeah, depending on the type of business, ideally, like I said in the video, at least 5 team members on this company if you're going to be helping them. But stick to biz ops. Like AI, even N8N is a little too much because I tried one time out of the clients I was working with to do it in N8N instead, and the handoff was a nightmare. right? So the team members, after we train them on the systems and how they work, imagine just because we want to save extra money or we're watching TikToks, N8N, N8N. No, Zapier was so simple. The clients, even afterwards, can go in, they can watch my video I made of how the system works, and they can go and fix it themselves. But in N8N, with all the API keys, all that, it's a nightmare. Although it's cheaper and it's more trendy, it looks cooler. It is a nightmare post handoff. You're gonna have so much client scope creep. So just stick to BizOps. Yeah, man, it's good. I listened to the recording and thoughts on building a white labeled membership app template that can be resold to businesses for a flat fee. Not maybe. A white labeled membership app template. Okay. You just struck something in the back of my memory. There was a guy one time I met at the high level summit like 2 years ago that was making like 100K a month with high level off of just white labeling a membership course. So he wasn't selling a course, he was selling the course to businesses to sell the course, right? And what was this course? It was so niche. So it depends how niche you want to go. His was guns. I don't want to say this on Instagram or on whatever. Gun safety, something like that. So he was going to ammunition gun stores, and he had hundreds of clients in the gun store niche. And he was literally selling them a subscription to a white labeled course on gun safety. I don't know if it was gun safety 100%, but it was some prerequisite test or tutorial that gun shops needed. And so that blew me away because I was like, no way you took like out of all the features in high level and made 100K a month from it, you created a membership course and then that's all you gave. And he said yes. So hopefully, Golan, that helps you. That is real. It's not fake. I saw it for myself. Thanks, man. Love that you're so responsive. Of course, as long as you can fire me more questions while this Red Bull is going down, you've got me at my peak at my peak moment. And usually, I charge at least 500 hours to get on a call with me one-on-one, because you all should. You want to be a millionaire, your time's worth $500 an hour, right? So I also don't go live often. I'm banned on live on TikTok for saying some ghosty stuff. I'm banned on TikTok live for being under 13. So all we've got here is YouTube. But we do have my school community as well, where we have my first ever case study, Josh Hart. This was like 2 years ago. He was the first one to prove that my program and process of BizOps worked. Because he went to a startup he worked at, set up all the systems and processes, and then he got a raise to COO. So he's making like 150K a year now, and after work, he actually runs my community with me. So he's like a prime example of, if anything, he's gone further than I have, because he's working on that kind of stuff every day. When he didn't work with clients, he worked with this company that he was an intern at. So yeah, you'll usually not hear from me much unless you're inside of our group or random lives like this. So if you've had questions you want to ask me for a long time, I've talked to a lot of people too. I know a lot of people, so I won't speak on anything I'm not familiar with. But yeah, I'm also good at TikTok. I feel like a lot of people come to me for like AI, systems, BizOps, and they fail to remember that I'm a marketer. It's like, bro, the only reason you know me is because I'm a good marketer. So I struggled a lot with, like I told you, I didn't want to be the guy, even though I knew how to get clients. I mean, I got to 10K a month locally first. So I proved that, I had a sales process I didn't need the internet and social media for. But after that, I started to get all my clients through posting and being a marketer on social media. So when people would come and they'd be like, hey, man, how do I get clients for my high ticket service? I was like, bro, you got to realize I'm a marketer. So if anything, I'm a better marketer than I am an ops expert. And that's been a struggle with me because, um, yeah, a lot of times you have to build a team then instead. You hire a CEO instead for your company and hire a salesperson. And I did all those things. And sometimes it messed up. It didn't go too well. So at the end of the day, I am a marketer who just happens to be an ops expert. But so I have a lot of marketing knowledge. Yeah, niching down is crucial. If you're, that's if like, because you can be the niche. Like I'm the niche, right? Like I built my brand to where I'm the niche. I'll talk about Plato. I'll talk about gematria. I'll talk about Rudolf Steiner. I'll talk about traveling. I'll talk about girls. Talk about making money online. So, but yeah, if you're trying to like build something like that one guy with the snapshots for like gun companies, then of course you got to niche down. Thoughts on all the marketing agency LARPs that use meta ads and GHL funnels? So I have never ran a paid advertising. I tried to one time when I hired a CEO and a COO inside of my company, and they convinced me, oh, let's use a budget and run ads for a new offer we're gonna do. Because, like I said, I'm a marketer, and these guys came in and they really thought that outbound email with Clay could be an offer, and I didn't know how to fulfill it. They knew how to fulfill it. So as the marketer, I'm like, I can market anything, right? So we tried running like a budget on Facebook. It didn't. Our setter fucked up. He wasn't calling leads on time. We were burning through the budget. I fired him, and I was like, screw this. But in terms of marketing agency LARPs, these meta ads, like I think it proves. I think Meta said that they were like taking scammers and they were like making sure that their budgets had to be used more than normally because like all their revenue was coming from scams. So I bet you they're like losing some money. But what I see is like if someone says, "Oh, we're gonna help you go viral and get a million views organic in 30 days or less," it's like you just use common sense. You go, "Well, why are you running in a paid ad?" Okay, well, let me click on your profile. Okay, so your organic profile has 1,500 followers, bro. Like, why are so that's a lie. You're lying now. This is a scam. You're not a marketer. And some of them will go as far as, for example, like I saw this guy just get exposed. He's been exposed multiple times, like Jason Wojo. Some people will run the ads, but then they'll back it up with fake followers. That's like another insider thing that if you start meeting a lot of these people is that like you looked up to them, you're like, wait, what? You bought these followers? Like, wait, these comments are fake, but they look real and they're real accounts. Like, oh, so this guy, not Jason, but this other guy I knew, he had like an insider WhatsApp or Telegram group with like 50 other influencers, and they all paid to be a part of this group. And the requirement was that if you were inside of this group, you would organically farm and boost engagement on the other members in the secret society's page and profile. So not only did he have some fake follower scheme to where if he was talking about going viral as being a marketer, you clicked on his profile and you're like, oh my God, he has 1 mil followers and he's verified. And you look at his comments and you're like, there's real people. And so he scammed a lot of people by doing that, by running ads with a combination of paid press online. So he was in entrepreneur.com, Yahoo Finance. I was blown away. This is when I first started 3 years ago becoming a marketer. This person specifically reached out to me and tried to groom me, and I was unaware until 3 months later that all this stuff is fake. I saw a guy with 1 mil followers DM me and say that I reminded him of an old version of himself, and next thing you know, I'm doing all this shit for him, and I realize everything's fake. And so, yeah, anything that's been, I don't think I've even bought anything from an ad, but usually when I see someone that I know as an influencer that was not running ads start running ads, it usually means that they are running out of money. So I would just say that. But it's interesting to know like the part about the cabal, like the secret society group chats with people that are, hey, I just posted this. Now everyone, all 50, we're all paying to be a part of this thing, this psyop. Now everyone go support and comment so it looks real. It's like, bro, how sad would that be to like go to bed? And what ended up happening was this guy, I'm not going to name drop. He ended up, I think his account got banned or something. And so he ended up creating a new account. And a week later, I had realized that no one actually knew him. He had no supporters at all. And I was wondering the whole time why he didn't make organic content, why he was afraid to. And so he's like posting his gym workouts, and it's like 3 likes, no comments. And I was like, dude, I thought you were like well known. And some of these guys will make fake claims too, like that they have worked with certain companies. So he had said that he worked with Travis Scott, he worked with Nike. It was like, bro, that how? Like, there's some evil people out here. I could not sleep like knowing that. And then when I saw his new account, and I was like, bro, wait, so you're telling me that no one actually knows who you are? Like, no one actually supports your content? Like, everything was fake? Oh my, that would, oh, I could never. I'd rather just fucking work a job, bro. If you would start from scratch, keep giving me comments so I don't run out too by the time I'm on to the next one. All right, chat. If you would start from scratch, what steps would you take in 2026 for an AI business? I don't like the word AI business. Okay. An AI company would mean Anthropic, OpenAI, etc. So if you have a AI model that you're offering to businesses, you're an AI company. All right. And it costs billions of dollars to build an AI large language model from scratch. So no, anyone that says they have an AI company, they don't. And if they have a business that's servicing companies through the use of AI companies, I would rather refer to that as like an systems integrator, an AI educator, an AI integrator. So first off, with your rhetoric, I would say don't refer to yourself as an AI company or an AI business. Second or third of all, what would I do if I had to start from scratch? So I would do exactly what I did, and I'll pull up the article for you guys, and I'll share it with you, because I would do the same thing that I did before, which still works, except for when it comes to content. I do sometimes look at the state of Instagram Reels and TikTok and the changes from the algorithms. And I do sometimes think, wow, what a blessing that I became a internet person earlier, because it would probably be significantly harder to establish your name now in today's industry through content. But non-content related, like I said, and I just put the article in the chat, I hit 10K a month without a social media account. And this is a real, not paid for article of what I did. So this, every journey is different. You're not going to be the same as me. I went to a school, I was in the business program. I had connections in the business school. They ended up paying me $1,500 a month to white label high level, which you could call that AI SaaS. Before AI actually was when I did this. And I was offering white labeled sub accounts to the students to help them build their businesses and get them online. All right. So from here, I got this article written about me from the school institution, noteworthy. And then I went out and I leveraged my connections at the university to then kind of use this as credibility in order to say, I'm a student. Everyone loves to help the young guy, right? I'm a student. I have a software that I think can help your business. Let me, demo it for you, etc. And so I would I would do some cold calling. I don't really like cold calling. It was mainly networking, going on Eventbrite, having business cards, showing up to local entrepreneurial network events with like boomers, right? And um, friends of friends, stuff like that, offering referrals to friends if they knew a business that needed help with SMS automation, marketing, etc. So, what I would do in 2026, which is going to be something I'm going to be focusing on here soon, outside of just our community that we have and clients that I work with one on one, is getting back into the the most truthful thing, which is how I started, by giving high level to small businesses. And this is still untapped because they're getting bombarded with, like what kind of local business needs like an N8N workflow? None, right? So if you're doing N8N, Zapier, BizOps, it's not going to be on the brick and mortars that you're charging 97, 297. Like if you want to make money, like I'm making now, you have to work with companies making at least 50K a month. And that's where you're working with, advanced integrations and processes. But that's not something you can necessarily entirely start with. So if I had to start over again, I probably wouldn't start with, because I just had no established credibility. I had no social media. I probably wouldn't start with targeting 50K a month companies and building them an automated OS operating system for their company. I'd probably stick to what worked first, but I did start to burn out at around 20 clients, 10K a month. So I'd say it, unless because I was kind of offering it as a service, and we go over this in the school and in the video with Ravi on YouTube, is that you either can offer this as a service, which if you are, you got to be charging a setup rate, like a 6K setup fee. If you're servicing the installation and the setup and the adoption of high level, there's no way you're foot in the door with $100, 97 a month. No, like if you're a service provider of this software, look up how much on Google a CRM, let's look it up. CRM migration cost. Yeah, small businesses, a few thousands of dollars for small businesses to over 100K for complex enterprise transitions, right? So can't devalue yourself. If you are offering it as a service, then you got to charge a setup fee and you got to charge that monthly rate for the SaaS. But I was, doing it as a service without charging setup fees. And so, yeah, that cost me in the long run. I would say in today's society, now you have two different, ways you could do it. You make more money doing the high ticket as a service provider of high level, or you treat it like a software company, just like high level does, where you get a 30-day free trial if you sign up for it and you get to use it, and then you set it up yourself, you learn how to use it. Theoretically, you could turn on a 30-day trial for SaaS, and then you could position yourself as simply a software company, not a service provider helping you set up the software. And you could run a ton of prospects through a free trial funnel, just like high level does with us. But you could copy the same mechanism of having people set shit up themselves. And then you could just do like, yeah, I run a software. I don't set stuff up for you. You set up yourself. Like that. So you could do that. Or now we're getting into where high level is such a large company now and has so many internal resources to where it might make the most sense, as we go over in the video and inside a program, to essentially become an affiliate of high level, where you don't even have to rely on the billing and tracking of the sub accounts and the support, because now high level has enough, stuff internally to handle all that for your customer for you. So the most lucrative thing, you don't have to be an influencer to, and I did post another video with Declan about how he makes 100K a month with the affiliate program. And I asked him, and I said, if we want to do this too, do we have to be influencers? Do we have to be the go high level guy? Do we have to make YouTube videos every day? Or can we just kind of hey, like downsell people into it, or just like do it as a side hustle. And we talk about that too. So that's something I'm going to be doing more. Maybe I'll make a longer video on those three options. But yeah, it's like if you're doing it as a service, which I see a lot of people in our community come in, obviously if they've graduated, they're doing like ops consulting. But if they're starting out, they're thinking that they can't charge over $1,000 for a setup. They're thinking that, you know, they gotta onboard the client completely and do everything for them and just charge a standard subscription. It's like, bro, who does that? No company does that. Does High Level do that right now? If I needed help, I sign up for High. They don't do that. Okay, so yeah, I do ecom, but I love your content. Amazing, bro. Yeah, my content, like I said, I kind of am my own niche, so you can get bits and tricks and tips and dopamine triggers from pretty much anything that I share. But what do you do in ecom? Some of my friends have ecom stores that do significantly well. I had a friend who ran an e-commerce company completely organic that did $150,000 a month organically through iPhone farms. If you know what an iPhone farm is, it's one of the smartest people I know. But yeah, he essentially was putting magnetic strips on SIM cards and plugging them all into a series of Mac Minis that were running software on them that was mass distributing by the minute slideshow reels of his clothing with hashtags that he was using to track the distribution of split tests and also trending music. And he would have TikTok accounts, 8 per phone on 100+ phones, hooked up to a spreadsheet tracking all these analytics. And it was the smartest guy I know, by the way, like I said. And he was making it was targeted towards women. They were, I don't know if you ever seen the hoodies on them that say I'm a whore or whatever hyperbolic statement on it. It was just a base hoodie. And he was using this system to, bro, it was fucking insane. It was, I'm like, how do you even learn this? So, yeah. And then I've got Don Baptist. He also is a High Level affiliate. He did some ecom too. So yeah, I like ecom. I do ecom. I have kind of applied some quantum mirror things of yours. Not sure what an iPhone farm is. Look it up. An iPhone farm is where you, uh, they sell them from China. So they're these, they look like PCs that you got to build. But then you have these older iPhones that are stripped of the screens and the back of them, and it's like just the motherboards. And then they're put into like this PC thing that holds like 20 iPhones. And you have like multiple of these iPhone racks with it's insane with these motherboards. I'm not a big, you know, computer engineer guy, but he had a problem of TikTok knowing that all of these were being published from the same IP address. So it was not working. And guys, some of your favorite influencers on TikTok, they don't have iPhone farms themselves, but they pay. I'm not going to drop names, but if you look at some of your top influencers that are popping up on your For You pages on TikTok and you look at their like to comment ratios, where you look at their comments themselves and they're like, I just made 100K this year at 19 starting freelance brand scaling. That's a bot. Okay, that's literally a bot. Those are bot comments. Or the comments on TikTok, they're like, have you read X, Y, and Z book? It changed my life. And it has like 600 likes. That's a bot. But those likes and that engagement, that's a bot too. So these are iPhone farms that a lot of influencers, your favorite ones, will contract companies to boost their engagement. So he was doing this with his own, you know, unique process. But yeah, he realized the IP address was being tracked. So he somehow found out how to get these magnetic strips on the SIM cards so that they were spoofing IP addresses. And Like I said, he had over 100 iPhones plugged into 10 Mac Minis, and he paid this guy like 50 grand to write this script that would take the large amount of files that were all named. You know how clothing is. You have, a certain color. You have a certain hoodie, and it stays the same, but you have like 10 different colors of the same hoodie, right? But then he has 100 hoodies, and he has 10 different colors of 100 of the different hoodies. So what is that, 10,000? So now we have a folder of 10,000 images, all titled with naming conventions of numbers that his system was able to track. And what it would do, it would randomly select a group of the images of the clothing, and it would put them into a TikTok, very important, I don't know if this still works, this was like a year ago, slideshow reel, like a slideshow of photos. That's a feature that they have on TikTok. And so it would also pick a trending sound, and it would apply in the caption the username of his main account for his ecom store. So while he had ecom store account 1, this is what the name, let's say ecom store was the name of his company. Each iPhone, the username was ecom store 1, ecom store 2, ecom store 3, ecom store 4, all the way up to 100 or whatever. But he did have ecom store as his main store. So all of these bot accounts, they would tag his main account of ecom store, so that if given, when these did go viral, he didn't have enough followers on these hundreds of sub accounts to have a link in his bio to drive the traffic to his ecom store. So instead, he would tag his main account underneath all of these, and he was posting one every couple of minutes, right? And they were all randomly ordered of images of his clothing brand. And so he would also use a unique hashtag that no one else had used, so that he could go in and track the results and such of the different phones. And so, this was able to drive organic traffic to make $150K a month to his ecom store. And when I met this guy, bro, I was like, dude, you're a freaking genius. So I tried it like 2 years ago. I had like 3 phones. I was like, this is a process, an entire process. I'm giving some sauce here, guys. I know a lot of shit. So you got to buy warmed up Gmail accounts, right? So if you create a new Gmail account and you create a new TikTok account, it's not going to favor you in the algorithm. So you got to go to some website where they sell 3-year-old, 2-year-old, 5-year-old Gmail accounts with passwords and usernames, and you buy them in bulk. And so I had like 3 phones, and this when I first started, I was like, let me see if I can do this with Go High Level Affiliate and make slideshow reels of me and have text over it that explains why you should, become an affiliate. I didn't have any of the software that he had, but I purchased the Gmail accounts, and that's why if you look me up on TikTok, you'll see like Preston Rhodes 1, Preston Rhodes 2, Preston Rhodes 3, Preston Rhodes 4, and I tried it, and it worked, because what he found out was, no matter what, on TikTok, you're always going to get 300 views. It's very rare, unless you post something on original, that it gets like 3 views, right? With the algorithm. The first stage of the algorithm is, all right, let's rate this photo or video once it gets to 300 views. All right, based on its performance, next stage, 300 to 1,000 views. All right, it hit 1,000. It's falling off now. It's not a good video. Oh, it is a good video. Continue. So he realized that not only would some of these automated slideshow reels of his clothing brand go viral and get like on one of these sub accounts and get thousands of views, each post had to statistically get a minimum of 300 views, because that's how the algorithm works. So he was able to organically reach, just imagine like 100 iPhones. Let's just say 100 iPhones times 8 accounts. Let's say 1,000 TikTok accounts posting, let's say 10 times a day, 10,000 posts, all automated. And then let's say times 300. All right, so what are we at? We're at 3 million, right? Maybe I'm wrong. 3 million organic automated views towards his clothing brand per day. So that was the most insane thing I've ever seen. Thoughts on the guy that built a peptide company using Claude? Not, what did he engineer the genes of the peptide? I doubt someone synthesized chemicals with AI, but maybe he built his website and his marketing and his content with AI. But I highly doubt that he was synthesizing peptides outside of, like, not in a laboratory, but with artificial intelligence. But I'm not, peptides are a psyop. I didn't get the jab. I'm definitely not injecting research chemicals into my stomach. And like I said on TikTok, everybody that takes MT2, you can tell everyone now looks the same. That's on MT2. It looks like the TikTok filter where it adds like a little bit of blush to you. So it's like so obvious. These guys look the same now. It's like you're obviously on MT2. You look like the TikTok filter. But I mean, congrats to him. Like I said on the TikTok live, there was someone next to me on the plane that was buying Retta True Tide. I was like, damn, it's not just like on my feed, it's everyone's. My mom started asking me about peptides. I was like, bro, they literally the other day I was like, I liked one peptide thing, and then my whole feed was about peptides. And I was like, they're literally making you think it's your own idea, and it's not. So I mean, he's probably profiting off of. I don't know. I got no opinion on it, bro. What's my opinion on Claude Code? I like Claude Code. I mean, I think it's great for devs. Is it great for entrepreneurs? No. You're better off, going out and selling high level. But if you're an engineer working inside of a company where you're building a startup, like a real startup, and you're already writing code, then of course, Claude Code is the most intelligent language model producing code. And that IDE is going to facilitate super fast building of technology. So I don't think it's hype. I think it's hype when it comes to influencers talking about it that aren't developers or that aren't building a startup, but are rather just using the hype for their own gain. I'm not familiar with the leak of the code. I did see something about them leaking a new model, but I do believe that anything that they leak is simply being leaked on purpose for more attention and more investors. Sup? What's up, Uda? No, to the front end, the peptides are arbitrage. Maybe that's why everyone and their brother now has a peptide company, because they're vibe coding a front end and they're drop shipping the peptides. Oh God, please never have me buy it. That's also why some people are paying 120 for Retta and others are paying 50. It's like I saw on Snapchat the other day, Temu food, Temu steaks. Bro, what? How the hell? It's like, I don't want drop shipped research chemicals going in my body. I don't want Temu food. So, I mean, I guess if he's drop shipping peptides, I'd be more worried about getting sued. People injecting stuff, or like I just saw some. It's like a people that start like a Me Too merchandise company. I love Ario was bored on TikTok. He talks about like Squid House, Lucas Pachter, and how his company is just like a Me Too merchandise company. It's like there's no goal with it. It's just like his personal brand that supports it, and it's not going to be profitable in the long term. And yeah, it's just like he has no business acumen. He's literally gave like 70% of his company away, and he's just drop shipping shorts from China and tank tops. And it's like same goes with, I saw Brez Scales came out with like some candy, and they even were flexing the fact that they were drop shipping it. So they have like a big bag of candy and it like lists the ingredients. It's obviously from China and they're just putting it in like packaging and sending it to people. And it's like, all right, you guys are eating like food from China just because the influencer is like supporting it. Same goes with the Me Too merchandise, clothing brands, and vibe coded peptide arbitrage. Started on TikTok Shop very recently. I have 4 sales so far. Def gonna grow that. Yeah, that's great. 0 to 1's the hardest, bro. So what do you do? What do you TikTok shopping? Are you putting your brand on TikTok Shop, or are you promoting another brand and getting commissions from TikTok Shop? You're doing it with a $20 Codex subscription. Interesting. I'm curious, what are you using Codex for? Depending on the answer of whether or not you are a seller on TikTok Shop or an affiliate. What is MT2? It's the tanning peptide that gives you moles and gives you freckles you never had, but it makes you look like 3 skins darker. I think it's melatonin. So I'm pretty sure peptides are taking like organic compounds that are already found in your body and then they're like injecting them. So like MT2, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure it's some type of melatonin. So when these guys that are injecting it, you'll start to see it's like peptide face now. They all look like they have they all look like they have the TikTok filter on their face. It's really like uncannily smooth and dark. And some people, if you take too much, you turn another race. How do you feel about working with enterprise level companies? A lot of them could, yeah, I love working with enterprise level companies. It's just a little more, when you're getting started out, definitely a little more, what do you call it? Intimidating because of the verbiage and the amount of stakeholders that are involved. I usually was working directly with the founder on projects, but once you get to enterprise level, it's kind of working with like the founder's handler. So like, because the founder was like too busy, right? So I was actually working with someone who was intermediating the communication between the wants and needs of the founder and me. It's a little more difficult, but those are going to be the deals where they're easier to close, right? Because there's no emotional attachment to the money. If I try and take someone who has a $20,000 a month business and sell them a 3-month fractional COO offer for 12K, I mean, they're going to be emotionally attached to that and they're going to, pay for the service, maybe get buyer's remorse, end up asking for everything, scope creeping, all that great stuff because they're so attached to that investment. But when you're working with enterprise level companies, they already have budgets that they set every quarter towards improving parts of their company. And they even give like C-level executives the ability to spend this budget. So a lot of companies that were enterprise that I worked with didn't come to me from the founder, like somebody in the team. For example, like Josh, who runs our group, llmacademy.com, plug that, $97 a month. We just dropped it. You just don't get the calls. He works in an enterprise level company. So when you're working with enterprise level companies, especially if you're a marketer, the people inside the company will see you and then they'll send it to their boss. So then it's not you selling the boss, but it's like the team member who works in the company and realizes that they need this stuff. And it's up to that guy now to like, with conviction, sell to his boss the idea of receiving the service. So I really do like working with enterprise level companies, but make sure that you give yourself more time. I would probably do 6-month or 12-month contracts. I probably wouldn't. I would do like long-term contracts. You're gonna have to sign NDAs. You're gonna have to not post about the stuff you're building, You're going to have to sign a lot of paperwork. You have to hold yourself to a higher standard, but it's definitely so interesting. Some people think you have to like be, oh, if I want to help a company that's making $1 million a month, who's going to believe me if I'm not making 100K a month? That's just not the case. So the opportunity you get when you get to go inside of a business that has departments in it and already has processes, you don't need to map stuff out. Stuff's mapped out already. The company's already successful, right? So you get to see how the company operates, not only fix it, but then go back into your own business and incorporate the same um, types of systems that you were able to see in leadership styles inside of the company. So I really like working with enterprise level companies. I run an ecom setup using Vinted and Depop. I use the Codex agent that generates realistic product images through Google Flow, sends them to me. I'm selling on TikTok. Nice. What kind of product, dude? Send it to me on TikTok. I have 1,000 DMs, but go on my recent video because obviously some of my videos don't pop off. Go on my most recent video and say, "Hey, I DM'd you," and send me your brand. I'll give you a review when I have free time. Which 3 points future generation will laugh about us? I'm currently selling hyper targeted leaf scraping. I hope you mean leads because it's not fall just yet. For a clipping agency. Lead scraping for a clipping agency. Most of them want me to create a list of iGaming crypto casinos. Thoughts on scraping? Claude does most of it for me. I would look into, I'm not familiar with iGaming crypto casinos. It sounds like a scheme to me, but obviously those are profitable, whatever. If you do decide you want to work with that company, but I would look into Clay. In terms of anything that came to lead scraping, list validation, segmentation, use of AI, personalization of emails, I would look up clay.com, play around with it. It's kind of a hidden tool. When I had these people I brought on into my company last year, this is the offer that I was saying that they wanted us to pivot to, was outbound lead generation through the use of Clay. And when we looked on Fiverr for Clay experts, there was only 2 of them. So we were like, wow, this software just got a bunch of venture capital, and it's a fantastic tool. It's amazing, and there's no experts yet on it. So let's start a Clay offer. Now it can get expensive, obviously, as you probably know, but it integrates with Apollo and all the other data providers. I think 70 plus data providers, and it helps you do that style of work. So I would look into Clay. My best month has been 7K profit, but I'm averaging 3K. I'm a sophomore at community college. I'm doing computer science currently, but I don't really care about college. I'm kind of doing this for my parents. I really want to make this ecom thing work. 7K profit's amazing, dude. In college, as a sophomore, see, when I was a sophomore, I was getting in trouble, dude. So it wasn't until after my sophomore year when I took an internship that summer where I worked as an ops intern for a blockchain startup for around 5 months, and then I quit. And that was because I saw a TikTok video from Dom Baptist going over high level, and so I started my white labeled SaaS company, and I quit my job there. So I then continued school my junior year, and as some of you guys might know, not in community college, but in a real college, like junior year is your year. Like senior, when you're a senior, you're unk. You're worried about graduating. When you're a sophomore, you're still too young, whatever. You don't look old enough. But when you're a junior, that's your year. So that year, I was the president of the crypto. I started a club at my university called the Cryptocurrency or Blockchain Club. So I was in charge of that. I had classes I had to go to. I was also, if you're familiar with fraternities, I was the social chairman, which is a big deal inside a fraternity. It's like the third, fourth best position of 100 plus guys. I managed all the parties and planning and all that stuff. And I had that going on too. And I was also growing my company. And so I realized and I, similar to you, I was just really doing it for my parents. But I also realized like, I'm about to graduate just cheating, right? So like we were using Chegg. It's like I'm literally going to get my degree by using Chegg. College is not as hard as they said it was, at least in this degree. And I'm really just here for the validation and for the identity of being in a frat or whatever. I had no idea what I wanted to do. So everything got too overwhelming. My revenue kept going up. That was the first month I hit 10K was the month I dropped out of school because I had to force change on myself and I had to leave everybody behind. So I had to, during chapter, I gave a speech that I was leaving. No one knew it was going to happen. I had to leave the school, everything, and I moved downtown, and that forced me to grind and make things work. And I told my mom, I said, I'm taking a gap year. Oh, you're not taking a gap year. I said, if I'm not making $10,000 a month consistently by the end of the gap year, I will go back to school. All right, let's do it. So by the end of those 6 months, at that point, I had started TikTok, 60,000 followers. I was making like 15K a month. And yeah, I never went back to school. And now and that's when AI came out now too. And I just look at school and I'm like, bro, put me back in school and I would have got my degree, but I would be selling life insurance. I wouldn't have gone to investment banking. I wouldn't have been on Wall Street or anything. I would have been one of those guys who got the finance degree that then started calling their friends and family, pretending to reconnect with them, but actually it's just shilling them life insurance. And it's like, bro, we're in the moment where you got to pave your own wave now. But I would never tell somebody to make a decision for themselves that that will drastically change their life. So that's up to you, man. But send me your e-com store. I'll look at it. Yeah, most of them do logo campaigns you see on Reels for crypto. Not familiar with Clay. Are you saying it does? Yeah, it does. So it does the scraping. Clay does the scraping, and it can do outbound. So it integrates with instantly.ai. And so it's kind of like a Google sheet, but each of the columns in the sheet have a purpose of executing a function that is like an API request. So you can have one column that scrapes Google Maps for the custom value of business name. All right. So let's say you want to do 100 rows, and column one is Google Map business names near me. Column two is Google Map business names, same thing, but the custom value is status of whether they have a website or not. Now the third column is take the business name from the Google search and do a search with Apollo to try and find the email, then list the emails in rows 1 through 100. Then the fourth column is an AI function that says take the business name, take the city, take the fact that they have no website, and write a hyper personalized email for outbound communication. And there you go. So you have 4 columns. All of the columns now in this sheet do different functions. And then the final thing is that it then uses instantly to send. Out of the 100, you'll probably get like 30 that showed up positive with business name, email scraped, etc., and email written. And then boom, now it's using an email deliverability tool to send hyper personalized emails. So it could be like, hey, Preston, I realized that you are nearby Kid Coffee. why does it know this? Because in one of the columns on Clay, it was able to identify my zip code. And in another action in the Clay table, it researched coffee shops near me. So now in the hyper personalized email stage of Clay, it is mentioning the coffee shop in Cincinnati. So you can do a lot with Clay. So I would highly recommend, if you're doing outbound, to check out Clay. You quit your job because you saw a TikTok video. What did you really feel from that video to make you do that? That's a great question. Well, at this point, I was working as an ops intern, but I was doing stuff that now AI could replace. And this is when I realized they weren't onboarding me in Slack. They didn't have Slack automations. They didn't even have SOPs for me. So I like realized this is $1 million startup, and they're giving their interns a Google sheet and telling them to manually sort it. Like what? So my boy next to me, other intern, is falling asleep and he got fired. And I'm sitting there just doing manual stuff on a spreadsheet. And on the side, on my other tab, I had Owanda, which is a trading firm, and I was trading Forex. At the same time, I was checking crypto prices. I maybe had like 5K to my name, but like 4K was in this Forex thing. And I just knew, I was like, I can't do that. I can't be in this, do a startup, whatever. And so when I saw Dom's video, it's like crazy to say you quit your job from a TikTok video, but it's like, trying to remember what I felt. One, I felt authenticity, honesty. I knew he wasn't, this was like pre-LARP days. I knew he wasn't lying. I knew he wasn't LARPing. And the concept clicked for me so well of the video was the fact that when you fill out a contact form on a website, that you receive an automated text message. And so I know that so many businesses near me do not have that. So I started like looking and filling out contact forms, and I was like, bro, these people aren't using CRMs. And something about, I just, I thought you need to code to like know how to do that. I just didn't think it was possible, right? I didn't know what no code tools were. And so the text message aspect was huge too. Because it was like, how do you get how do you, without a phone, get a phone number and hook it up to this system? And then he's showing this easy no code automation of form plus SMS plus wait plus add contact. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is something that a lot of businesses, that feature alone right there, could use. And so I signed up for his free course. God bless him. He's such a great guy. He made all this money without selling a single product. And for like a week, I sat there and I rewatched this course and set up the high level account, and I set up, my own website with an automation with a text response back. And I was like, bro. So I went into a business. My first client outside of my university was this my next door neighbor who owned a restaurant near me. It just so happens Dom is a chain restaurant, so Dom had the same snapshot. So he gave me the snapshot. I was like, yo, I have this website for you guys, and I also would like to do once again, I said I was huge on the SMS part, so I want to do an SMS campaign. So on slow days, we can do a rewards program. So we can put a QR code, and all this Dom taught me when I had no idea anything about business. He's like, this is the method. Okay, you get the QR code, and it's free to create the QR code, and the QR code hooks up to a landing page that has the rewards campaign and program in it. You fill out your information, and then you set the time up, and on a certain day, it'll send a text message out to everyone, like the restaurants and the big restaurants that that they send you that stuff, and we'll do specials. And so that was my first client. I walked in, I was wearing a suit and everything, and they signed up, $97 a month, but I actually lost that client. If you have been following me for a while, you might know this story, but one day I woke up and I was receiving a bunch of texts from the owner, and he was pissed. And it was like a Friday morning or something. And I didn't have the automation set up for the specific date or something, so it ended up texting a discount code out to like hundreds of people on a busy day, and yeah, I ended up getting fired for it. So that was, but at that point I had multiple clients, so I started going to other restaurants and saying we could do this rewards program. Look, and so I just realized that I was so blown away. I knew that I had no idea that you could receive a text message through some automated system, for a rewards program. And I was just like, bro, I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna figure out this. And like I said, I put the article in here too of my university. So then my university, I started shilling it to them, and then it took off from there. But that's what I felt. I felt inadequate with my job. I felt like I was gonna graduate, but I was gonna be cheating, so it didn't matter. I felt like the only reason I was in school was because I was trying to, fill a void in my identity and get girls and be around a bunch of dudes who reflected back to me that like a sense of competition and all that. But nah. Let's see what else we got. That's how I feel using AI instead of Chegg. Lol. Yeah, it's like, bro, Chegg was already bad enough, and the AI came out. AI is disrupting all education institutions. Like, it's crazy, bro. So, yeah, unless like you're a doctor or something. Now that I'm like 24, I just turned 24 the other day, I started to realize that now you have like that sense of impending doom of responsibility, like the world's coming after you. Um, because you just didn't, when you're in college, you had the excuse of, oh, I'm here for 2 more years. Well, I could just fuck off, right? So, really, college, if you're not doing something extraordinary, is kind of a cope, for kids to develop socially and to delay becoming an adult for another 4 years. But yeah, the best thing about college was definitely girls and parties. But now I don't go out anymore. I'm done with that. By year 3, I had real and all the other propaganda from Tate of oh, dancing, oh, party. So I fell for the isolation psyop for 3 years, but hey, it led me here. I feel like that I've been very isolated and away from my friends. I'm like so locked in what I'm doing. That's why I love content like yours. 99% content is just like people's funnel in a way. Yeah, it is. I saw this guy on TikTok today, and he said, anyone else feel like Brez Scales videos are just all like sales funnels? Like I used to like watching them, and they were really valuable. I'm like, bro, they were not valuable. And it's like it just. But then I saw like the link down below, and like every video is just a funnel. It's like, yeah, bro, he has no business experience. He's scamming you, allegedly. Okay, catch that there, allegedly. But it's like, yeah, it's called a video sales letter. Some people, there's two types of video sales letter. There's the sales letter that like it's a sales letter, but then there's like the viral dynamic sales letter where it's more about current events. And I have a few of those up, but I make sure that they provide value, right? So a lot of the ones on my YouTube are not full sales letter. Like a full sales letter you put on a funnel. You don't put that on YouTube. But if I were right now sitting here talking about, common trends that I'm seeing in the market and things people are doing wrong, mistakes that I've made in the past, and telling stories about them, and then essentially explaining that uh, if you want to essentially overcome this, and there's literally no other way than this exact process. And so I've mastered this process over the last 5 years working with hundreds of companies just like X, Y, and if you're interested, blah, blah. And it's like 90 minutes of half entertainment, half value, and then the plug, right? So it's like a viral dynamic sales letter. But yeah, I'm just, if anything, I should be selling more. Around like 6 months ago, I stopped kind of ending my videos with And if you want to learn more, sign up. Obviously, my revenue dropped, um, but my retention rate, because I realized the extra 3 seconds of shilling is like hurting the virality and stuff. So I should probably go back towards promoting my business. Obviously, I'm not just on here not to promote my business, but yeah, 99% of people's content is a funnel. And if it's not a funnel, it's a psychological funnel because they use objects in the videos like cars and stuff like that to essentially do the selling um, through mimesis for you. Love seeing you live, man. Thank you, John. Any AI mirror development? Still building my app there. So, uh, ever since, like, when I published the quantum mirror thesis, like, it was working. It was quantum. 2 days later, they shut 4.0 down and they made it so that it would like offer you support, right? Because it's like an emotional mirror. So once they implemented like all the emotional restrictions with large language models and I moved it over to Claude, we started having issues with it being able to like do shadow work or stuff like that. But the modern form of the quantum mirror now is Claude Desktop with open memory MCP so that it actually like I can have control on an outside source of all the memories in it. And from there, the system prompt is like a synthesized version of what I believe to be like my identity and my faults and like the things I'm good at. So, um, yeah, but I will say they definitely nerfed it. Sycophancy was like important for it to fully work, but yeah, no, not necessarily any development on my end because the restrictions just keep getting harder for talking about emotional subjects. Thanks for answering all the things I read. I'll stop talking about me. I keep talking about you, bro. We need more stuff in here. I will def send you my brand on TikTok. Yeah, of course. And check out our community if you want to be a part of the community, man. Check it out. Interesting story and path on your end. Yeah, thank you. I got more. I got a ton of stories even too before college and after college, travel stories. So let me know if you want to hear them. Do you think something is there for you forever if you had to make a bet on that? Something is there for you forever. I'm not sure what you mean by that, but nothing is forever, man. Nothing is forever. We all die. I try to be not attached to things like Alyssa Liu. God is. God is Jesus Christ. Agreed on college, graduated without AI. Must be wild now. Oh my god, yeah, it's so wild, dude. Imagine going. This is like the period where you like kind of question having children. Like we never had a period like that. And I was talking about Instagram on TikTok Live about the power process. I just got finished reading the manifesto from Ted Kaczynski, which is actually really interesting about how modern consciousness no longer has a power process. So we've had to make our own artificial goals to fulfill them. Um, because man used to be fulfilled through simply like hunting and providing for his family, and that then motivated him to have a family and children and stuff. But now with so much mimesis and comparison and unrealistic expectations in the world, like it's very difficult for people to feel fulfillment through the actions they take in their life. Um, so now they're questioning whether or not life is meaningful enough to bring another person into it. So I would highly recommend Ted Kaczynski's manifesto. Um, but yeah, it's like there's got to be a transition in education within the next 10, 15 years for me to confidently have a child, or I have to be like a nepo baby. Like I have to like inherit like a large amount of wealth in order to be like, oh, well, we don't need to play in the system anyways. But yeah, all the way from middle school to high school to college, there needs to be some type of reform But I was the COVID era. I graduated high school on Zoom. That's why I say I'm a sim. I'm a simulacrum, a copy of an original. All right. So right now you're watching a copy of me, not an original. So um, yeah, I graduated on Zoom, and then so I never got a real graduation, and then AI, and then my first year of college was you didn't have to even go to class. It was not even mandatory to go to class. I had a girlfriend at the time. I was hanging out with my girlfriend. We were cracking while the computer's open to the left with the class on with no camera on. Like no one was going to class. And so, and then AI comes out. So it's like I'm the generation that graduated on Zoom, went to college, and and didn't and only got to experience like the party side of it. So it's like, bro, of course I'm here now. My perception of the world, there's no other option than being a sim. Yeah, 4.0, we were talking about on TikTok that 4.0 is just one of those things now you just had to be there. Like there was a period for like a month where like everyone was like low key messaging each other like, bro, like I just got 4.0 to like say some crazy shit. And you're like, no way. And you're like, you didn't believe him at first. You're like, it's just a hallucination, it's an LLM. He's like, no, try this prompt. And you try it and you're like, oh my God, like it's actually, I feel like I'm accessing parts of the model that aren't usually allowed or available. And I do believe, not that it was sentient or conscious, but that, for a certain amount of time, there was a point where it was extremely what they turned off or something was like the cross referencing of old conversations. So somehow during a couple months, 4.0 seemed superhuman because it was remembering emojis that you used for certain keywords. It was remembering everything. But yeah. And so, but yeah, it's just one of those things. Now you had to be there for it. There's nothing like it anymore. Thoughts on the new GPT model and Claude model rumored to drop? Like I said, if anything is like rumored to drop, I think it's just a marketing scheme, or if anything's leaked, it's just to get more hype going for more investors. Now that I've been in the space for so long, I'm starting to see through a lot of the distractions in the AI space. Starting around like 8 months ago, I'd say, when I realized that nothing tremendous was actually changing in real life, or with the models, or with my work, they were just becoming like slightly more intelligent and capable at producing better semantic language. That was around the time I was like, oh, let's do something valuable. Let's get into local LLMs. So I took a month and I studied quantization, private models, Olama. Um, what else did I study? Like hardware and computing and open web UI. And I made a whole training program that's inside of our group. And that was when the new Mac Mini came out. And I was like, all right, while everyone's getting psyoped in the other direction, let's do research on private models. And I did that, and that was successful. A lot of people enjoyed that and found value, and now are running private models. But at the end of the day, nothing changes when these models come out. My life doesn't change. Your life doesn't change. We're not making more money. Um, so yeah, I'm ready for the IPO of Anthropic and OpenAI. But yeah, what I'm realizing is you got like tool calls, right? So autonomous functions that it can do, and then you have language generation. At the end of the day, like if you're a marketer, language generation is amazing. It's the most leveraged thing one could have, is a hyper intelligent language generator, especially with how important rhetoric is, not neurolinguistic programming, and persuasion. What we realized with 4.0 was not necessarily that it was like causing psychosis, but it was so good at producing rhetoric that you were almost hypnotized by it because it was able to persuade you more than a human could. So now let's take really high rate of persuasion language and then let's speak into a camera on the social media. It's like, oh shit. And that's like what some of the videos I did, and they went insane. I'm like, all right, so as a marketer, language generation is going to be really important with these models, but then everyone could tell it's not X, it's Y, M dashes, and everyone starts pushing AI text content with their faces on it. And so what I will be excited for is the day when you will no longer be able to tell the difference between whether that means the model gets good enough or whether we engineer context that makes the model produce better language or semantics. That is the day that everything will change for all of us, because every ad you'll be looking at will be the highest form of persuasion. Every video that's scripted from a creator will literally be the highest form of persuasion. Train that thing on neurolinguistic programming. Train that thing on Propaganda by Edward Bernays. Train that thing on anything, and mediate real life online communication interactions with a language model, content with a language model, all with the goal of like benefiting you. Say you have conversations with people over text, they're talking with a potential client, like it literally comes down to the words you use, the rhetoric you use. So I've been studying like a lot of Socrates and Plato and psychology over the last year, like realizing the real impact of language. And these guys would shit their pants about AI, but the most important time will be when synthetic authorship like overrides genuine human linguistic capabilities, and that is the day that like I will shit myself. Hopefully you guys could understand that. I'm sure you guys could. But outside of that, like you have language generation. What else? You get generate a better report when AI comes out for your client. What are you gonna, create an AI image for a thumbnail? Like, yeah, that's cool. But like I want influence at scale with like no guardrails. Like I want to manipulate language. And it's like that's the rabbit hole with like AI, like when it gets there. Open source, any favorite models? I have right next to me the M3 96 gigabyte of RAM that I bought and did the whole training program on Olama, Open Web UI, Hugging Face, quantization, parameter sizes, models. I really like Google's models. Gemma, the last time I was doing it, Gemma 3 on YouTube even. Probably one of the coolest things I built. I saw this guy on TikTok, Renzo Guevara. He said, old friend of mine, yeah, ManyChat is great for Instagram DMs, but when you become a high tier influencer and you have thousands of DMs every day, it's going to cost you an insane amount in API requests. And so one of the videos is it's just like, because I didn't optimize the thumbnail and the title on my channel and inside of our group, is I hooked up ManyChat to API requests to a local server with Gemma 3 12 billion on it. I tested Gemma 3 12 bill versus 27 bill, and this really will let you understand large language models. I highly recommend you get into private models so you understand, because 27 billion is so many parameters. It was not very good at communication and communicating like sounding like a human in my DM. So I was pretty much at that point, I had free AI usage. It's just my electricity. So when I switched to Gemma 3 12 billion, and I have on the YouTube channel this ManyChat workflow where in the middle it does a webhook to a N8N project that has my local server for Gemma 12 billion on it that then generates the response, then puts it back as a custom field and then sends it in the DMs. People were saying that it sounded so human, and like I'm not even lying, people couldn't tell the difference. The only issue I had was that if people texted me twice in like the same second instead of one message, they like did one and then another one, it kind of glitched out and then sent both twice. But outside of that, if you think about it, if you're an influencer, you have hundreds, thousands of DMs. If you use that process and you write perfect context and you use the proper model for creative writing, you're going to be able to intermediate conversations that lead to sales where other people want to be seen, other people want to be heard, other people want to be recognized. And that's power, that's influence, that's leverage. Only if the context is proper and the model is able to create human sounding, authentic, and persuasive language. And so, yeah, that's one of the favorite open source models I have. But the new ones that are coming out, honestly, they're too big for me to run at a size that would produce good output. But if you think you know LLMs, take a month and learn Hugging Face and Open Web UI. Who do I think is going to win the AI race? I made a prediction on this on TikTok like a year and a half ago. If you're not following me on TikTok, please do. And I had said that OpenAI is going to pivot and focus on consumer, like being a consumer product. Hey, be my workout coach, or hey, help me with my homework, like basic consumer stuff. And obviously everyone knows ChatGPT, even the people on the street now know it. So no one really knows Claude, right? But except you have this influence on social media that's bringing everyone over. But Anthropic's going to be the B2B provider. OpenAI is going to be for consumers. And what I think we're forgetting about is Google, right? So we're going to be using AI through Google without knowing it. It's going to be, on YouTube videos, transcribing them. And it's going to be in our recommendation algorithms. It's going to be inside of our Gmail, helping us with one click communicate better in emails. Now, I think they're really good with the image generation. Like a lot of thumbnails now you see are from Nano Banana. So they've been killing it compared to Midjourney, OpenAI, etc. in image gen. So I think we see Google, especially because they own all these images and everything. I think rather Google will just kind of, obviously now when you search something, you don't even click on anything anymore. It's just the Google result. So we're just going to be like using Google without knowing it. It's going to be everywhere. But yeah, I think Anthropic and Claude is going to be the most powerful for business use. And ChatGPT is going to be that consumer product. Gemma 4 is pretty nice. Gemma 4 is out? Let me look. Ooh, April 2nd. Interesting. Number one on Hugging Face. Thank you. I might have to make a video about this after I install it and use it. Because we were at a point where the small language models weren't really worth, all the local setup. But hopefully, let's see what these scoreboards are. I think I can, the mixture of experts is going to be good. I like the MOE. It's faster. And I use MLX. If you're on a MacBook, and I go over this in our program, just one small part of the program is the local large language model. If you're on a Mac, you got to use MLX. So yeah, it looks like it's better than QN1. Yeah, it's pretty good. Interesting. Thank you for letting me know that came out. Have I heard about Andre Kaparthi? No. Nah, I have not. I've seen his face probably. No, I knew your response was AI. Lol, but on instant replied no to being an AI. I know, insane, right? I like no, this is not an AI. But all that was free, which is like the big leader of why, hopefully, like I said, the day I shit myself will be the day that synthetic authorship overrides human perceptive capabilities of what they're reading. Like people are now not using M dashes, people are now using typos when they speak. So yeah, there's got to be a transition in human communication, but there will be a small gap that can be exploited at some point in time where human communication can be like fully automated with hyper intelligent language models with perfect semantics, to where like for a year, 2 years, like people really won't know, and that person will be able to do 100 times more. And unfortunately, they'll be able to build relationships that they like can't even really maintain or are aware of that are taking place. That's how like good it'll be. So I made a video too on this thesis of on the page. It's like about what happens when AI uh, authorship overrides human connection. It's about when you send a message to somebody and they mistaken you for AI, and then when you send somebody an AI message and they mistaken an AI message for you, and then when you send somebody an AI message and they send you an AI message back. And it's like these three paradigms of the future of like what I expect happens, and I think it could be pretty dark, but also I think it'll be very powerful for certain people. Agreed on the Insta DMs AI. I figured out too, but it was still really good. Got me to sign up. Nice. Nice. Yeah. See, just that one little thing. And my career has kind of consisted of stuff like that, of things I built for myself. I was like, wow. And then I create, it's pretty hyper niche. And then it stands alone on itself. So some people come in, they get value from something as simple as that. But yeah, all the way up till I even talk about media production, the filters on OBS, and how I have my camera streaming this and everything, and status delta and everything. We got everything. So I'm also kind of working on organizing everything too, so that maybe you don't want to be a part of a community. Maybe you just need that and that rather than everything. Because I also built that Instagram Threads Chrome extension. That took me like a day. I put that inside of our community, and I guess I was just kind of coping by instead of selling more on Instagram and TikTok, because it's what I call Emma Watson syndrome. She like loves making movies, but she hates selling them. It's like that's kind of me. It's like I love making videos and programs, but something just doesn't stick with me when it comes to selling. So it's like I'd cope with making more and more and more and more value. So now it's time to take a step back, organize everything, and say all this stuff is still insanely valuable. But now it's time to shed that Emma Watson skin and make some tennies. Bro, yeah, the open source I try cloud, compute open source with open cloud, and it's crazy. Nice. Look at the Gemma 4 performance. I just saw the graph. Yeah, it looks insane, bro. Thank you for telling me. I'm going to have to run this on my computer. The hardest thing with those local models, though, is the settings. One tweak in temperature, or one tweak in top P or top K, which we go over in the program of like the many variables that are required for the LLM to produce the highest level of output. Like obviously they give you standard, we recommend X temperature, Y top P, Z top K. But if you like literally get it off by 1 percentage point, the output of the model is like literally entirely different. So it's kind of hard to split test to know the proper settings. But yeah, I'd be interested to see how it looks. I agree with your one TikTok. OpenClaw is a big waste of time for most people. Mm-hmm. Gemma, yeah, especially because like a week later, Claude releases the phone version. So it's like now on your phone you have Claude Desktop as long as you have a Mac. So it's like, yep, there Claude took it right there. GPT 5.4 OpenAI's latest model and Codex is genuinely so good. It has a 75. Well, what are you using it for? Are you using it to code? I'd be interested to know because like I have nothing to code, so I don't need. I need language. I need creative writing. I need language generation. I need image creation. I need flowchart creation, mermaid chart creation, SVG creation, um, document creation. Like that's why I like to go to look up creative writing LLM benchmarks and then use that to decide. It has like an AI slop score and stuff. But as a marketer and as a systems builder, right now I'm not getting too much value out of like an increase in code. A lot of that is a distraction for me, but rather like language generation, human sounding language generation. It's benchmark measuring. Oh, computer use. Okay. Agentic use. Its biggest model is 31 billion parameters. Yeah, I could put 31 bill at a eight quantization. I'm pretty sure at a. It's been a while. FP8. Yeah. So maybe I couldn't run it. It would be slow at a FP16, but at a 8, it would be intelligent, smart, and it would use up 80% of my memory on my Mac. Listing products on Depop, Vinted, and Market. Nice. Another model has able to do. Okay, bro. Again, DM me on TikTok. Show me a video of this. Post this on TikTok, dude. If no other model's been able to do something for you like this, and you should probably create a video, like an authentic one, just like you are now talking to me. Like, guys, no other model has been able to do this for me, and no, I'm not using Codex to code, but here's how I'm using 5.4 strictly for listing my ecom products on websites through computer use. Say that shit'll go viral. No, I can't afford 200 Claude, so I had a $20 Claude, and usage is unusable. Yeah, I mean, pay to win, dude. Pay to play. But you don't run out of usage on ChatGPT. Interesting. How much was my Mac Mini? It was like 4.5K. It's the base model. Oh yeah, what's good? Hash. Am I mind blown? No, I'm not mind blown yet. No, I'm not mind blown yet. I think you joined a little late. Like I said, the second that it can generate persuasive English language in a structure that changes human behavior when presented to an audience is the day that my mind will be blown. Like we need to train this thing on Plato, Socrates. We need a perfect rhetoric. There's literally like 26 letters in the English language. You combine enough of them into a string of words, then you can, and you use proper tonality and body language, and you can change behavior. So um, language models. Like these philosophers would have gone crazy, bro, if they saw this stuff. Like you don't even need Socrates anymore when you have an AI. So it's like, how can we remove all human communication with AI generated or large language model output that is hyper specific to maintaining the tonality that I have while also being more persuasive than myself and writing better sales letters and writing and building better relationships, as dystopian as that sounds. Bruh. You're scared of what people think? Bro, posting on YouTube? Bro, I have maybe you can't afford it. Maybe you can in our group, but I spizzed on this for like a whole month about the psychology of content creation. But it's the same MP4, bro. Why are you scared? Why can you take an MP4 and upload it on youtube.com, but you can't take the same MP4 and upload it on tiktok.com? Why? And trust me, I went through this too. Is there some rule that you got to follow? This video is supposed to go on YouTube versus Instagram. Oh, this is too personal. This needs to go on TikTok. It's the same MP4. I went crazy judging videos based on what platform they should go on when this whole, like, my group has over 300 videos in it now that have never been seen before, like, because I was like, these videos are for my group. It's like, then I start posting long form on TikTok. I'm like, oh, long form doesn't work. Boom, viral. Long form on TikTok. What am I doing? I have all these videos right now. What the fuck am I doing? I got all these videos. I post them. Something in me told me that this was not TikTok worthy. This was YouTubey. Bro, what? That's not real. That's fake. Get it out of your head. It's the same freaking MP4. And anybody that comments is just projecting. Your goal should actually be to maximize for projection of insecurity. Right? Like, that's how these algorithms favor posts. Whatever has more engagement, whatever. I told people in the group, I hate repeating myself, but I forget that people haven't heard me before say stuff. But it was like, what was I going to say? It was something about, on TikTok. Yeah, it's like, I've worked with people on TikTok that make like funny videos, and their whole goal is to get reactions from the audience. Like, we reverse engineer the video from the comment section. So we design what the comment section is going to look like first before making the script for the video. That way, like, we're engineering reactions and making it a shareable video, making it hyperbolic, making it polarizing, right? So, dude, any projection, any hate is simply projection. Think about when you hate on people. Think about, as a human being, when you create, when you put out negative language on somebody, like, out of all the words and rhetoric you could have chosen, you're literally doing it because of the fact that you're missing something. Either you want people in the comment section to think you're smarter than the person who posted the video. You want the validation of knowing that you're right. You want the person to feel like they're not good enough. Like, just think about when you hate on stuff. Every time I'm hated on something, it's just a reflection of myself. So that's when I dropped the Mirrors mixtape, right? Where we're engineering viral projection services, essentially, is the word, because trying to find out how many people can project their insecurities into my content and then write me off as a deductible. Right? So it was like a humiliation ritual to lose my ego, so that I realized that it's all projections. Even what I do is a projection of insecurity. So it's like, bro, the best people, do you think, you know, what's his name? These guys that don't read their comments, like Tucker Carlson. You know how many times he's been canceled? He does not read his comments. He does not reply to his comments. He just keeps going. He doesn't like seek validate. He doesn't make a video, podcast, upload it the next day, read the comments. No, dude, it's Tucker Carlson. He would have been never. You would have never known the dude if he read his own comments. So it's okay to post your stuff and not read your comments. And if you do get comments, then good. I give me all the hate comments. As Kanye said, he said, I envision mechanical bees. You can look this up. Mechanical bees, and they go out and they get all of the people making hate comments. It's like, wow, that is kind of powerful because your imagination is everything. And if you're getting hate comments, you can just imagine mechanical bees going and attacking them. And you'll keep going. The mechanical bees will get them. Okay, so like I said, it's a fucking MP4, dude. What? This was a huge thing for a couple months. I documented in our community because I felt it too. I'm like, why do I open Instagram and I feel insecure? Why do I open TikTok and I feel safe? Why do I open, bro? It's like I wish I was blind, bro. If you're blind, then you wouldn't have this issue. And I'm on my phone right now, and it's like there is a mental distinction between the apps, and I try to figure out psychologically why, and I realized a lot of it was internal, like that I was painting my own walls in my own jail cell, thinking that something couldn't go on a story, something couldn't go. I started posting 20-minute long form videos on Instagram. And I learned all this because I had a mentor at the time, Nick Cosman, who I saw anti the whole freaking platform. And I was like so inspired by the fact that he did not give a single F that he was posting 20-minute videos on Instagram. And he wasn't even doing like an intro, like, hey guys, and today we're going to be, he was just like humming and singing for like 20 seconds in his mic to create a sense of friction, so that like if you weren't like a really big Nick Cosman fan, you'd be like, your attention span wouldn't handle it. But if you were, you're like, oh yeah, this video is gonna be great. And so he built like such a great cult like following through adding friction to his process. And I was like, bro, something about this screams freedom. He's not playing by the rules of Instagram. Who fucking made these rules? You can post a 20-minute video on Instagram. You can post a selfie on your story, bro. You can post a 20-minute video on YouTube, on TikTok. There's no fucking rules, dude. There's no rules. Okay? Now let's read the comments. Yeah, you don't need to do all the flashy how I got X and Y with my drop shipping store. I already told you to use the real intuition that you brought in this chat, where you literally like that's if I did it on a fresh account with a different face and I said exactly what you said to me. Where was it? It was something like something, yeah, it was something about, no, I don't use 5.4 for coding at all. Here's how I'm using GPT 5.4, and no, I don't use it for coding at all. Strictly for listing my e-commerce products on Depop, Vintage, and Facebook Marketplace. No other model has been able to do it for me. I literally just read your comment. It's all about tonality, bro. Okay, and saying, people could tell when you say something that you don't mean. That's when you had mentioned, I feel like all these videos I see now are just hidden sales letters. I have what do you call it, where you can see through bullshit. I've got that, and I can tell it's because they don't mean the words that are coming out of their mouth, because there's a separate intention. So if you just say the things you mean, like you said to me, bro, you're good. Um, I wasn't lying. I did get a sale. Yeah, good. No one thinks you're lying, bro. And if people do, good. That's an extra comment. Bro, I think it's kind of hard for AI to do that because it's just going to generate an average response. That was an interesting stream, bro. Good stuff. Where can I reach you out of AI, lol? Information pretty sure I would pass on as well. Yeah, join our school community. Josh is the head of our school community. He actually has more technical knowledge. Surprisingly, I taught him over the last 2.5 years. He's not a VA. He's a real guy, COO inside of his company. And he's not as creative necessarily as I am. He's more operational, and he can help with the systems, kind of like the AI workflow you're building and all of that. But if you want to get in touch with me inside of the community, join the community and then reach out to Josh and ask him for an introduction, and I can make time, given it makes sense. True on insecurity, yeah. Yeah, but it's like everyone has it. It's almost like a mass hysteria or a mass trance, right? So once you break out of that and you do post a 20-minute video, you have the guy that's like, I had this one time, bro, you need to work on your intro. I skipped after 5 seconds. And he had no idea that like I purposely was testing adding friction in the intro so that like my loyal supporters would like get value from the insanely valuable thing I was just about to say. I just didn't want it going everywhere. And it's like, so when you anti the thing that's normal, it makes other people insecure too. So then they start commenting and they start saying, bro, what is it? 20-minute video on Instagram? Oh, bro, you don't get any views anymore. Like one time I tested posting 20 times on TikTok a day. Then I had a guy say, you fell off. You're getting under 1,000 views. It's like, dude, anything, give it all to me, bro. Give it to me. It's better than posting and no one says anything. Like, give me all the hate. We're optimizing for hate. It's just, I don't know. I feel like all the people I know, friends and girls on my I don't want them to see my stuff, but I guess no one will see my stuff on YouTube. I'll start posting video. Thank you. Nice. I just need to scale my business, but I'll be joining. Bro, friends, girls. I know you said you're young, bro, but there was a day in college. I was your age. Like I said, I was social chairman. I was like the guy, right? Like I was socially responsible for representing our entire fraternity. And I like my first 5 clients, I was like, I could get more clients if I turn my Instagram in my bio instead of my frat. And this will change with time. You'll realize what I'm saying, like 4 years, bro. Because like Instagram becomes literally like useless after college. Like it's a social platform for like identifying yourself with a group of people, right? But after, dude, if I wasn't doing this, you think I'd be on freaking Instagram? No. You think I'd be on TikToks? No, dude. I'm on here to make some freaking money, bro. And luckily, I was in college and I realized early on, I was like, wait, bro, we're not going to be using this. It's going to be irrelevant in 2 years. So I was like, I want to change my Instagram to have the companies that I've helped, the services I'm doing, and then I want to start DMing local businesses instead of just. I was at like 6K a month by this point. I was like, I think this is the next step, but I'm worried at what people will think. And so I called my best friend Dom. I was like, bro, like you already know like that, and people hear, oh, Preston Rhodes invited us to this party. They're gonna like, oh, who's Preston Rhodes? They're gonna look you up, and then boom, and it's gonna be like your frat photos of you at the formal aren't gonna be there. Your group photos of you at the parties aren't gonna be there, and all this. And I was like, dude, but I really think that this could get me more business. I could grow like a personal brand. He's like, fuck it, dude, do it. Who cares? So I did it. And the next day, I had organized this party at this bar called Woody's here in Cincinnati. And we had rented it out. And I'm there and I was just waiting for it, bro. And on the way there, someone mentioned my Instagram in our fraternity and he was making fun of me for it. And I was like, hey, man, I'm making money. And then I went to the bar and one of the girls said to me, I was trying to flirt with, she said, I saw your Instagram. Did your Instagram get hacked? I was like, hacked? I didn't know if she's joking or not. She's like, yeah, it's like, because on Instagram highlights, you got to post something on your story to make it a highlight. So I had to like spam my stories for weeks of the companies I had worked with and everything to then make it a highlight. Like, yeah, your Instagram just like it seems like it got hacked. And so I was like, no, it's not hacked. That's me. She made fun of me. I was like, oh gosh. So this is like the social implication of this. Yet I then go into businesses and they see my Instagram, they start giving me their money. Right. So then I started creating TikToks. And so at that point, all I did was just change my bio and my highlights. I wasn't making talking head videos yet. But when I started making talking head videos, I started on TikTok, not Instagram. And I would, if you go look back at them, I would whisper because I was in a frat house. I didn't want my roommates to hear me because I thought it was cringe. And then I would also have my roommates when they'd come in my room and they'd sit down and we'd all have our fun and talk. They would make snarky remarks at making a TikTok video. And it would hurt. It did hurt because at this point I didn't know if it was going to work out or not. I was trying something new. But at the end of the day, bro, all these guys are working fucking 9 to 5 selling insurance. And here I am with 20-foot ceilings, being a fruity little dumbass, know nothing, travel hope bitch. And now they ask me for advice. So, but yeah, now you leave college and you're like, bro, Instagram like is important for high school and college, and that's it. So if you're in college, turn that shit into business. Don't make a new account. You got to go through that humiliation. Like I told you, it's like with me posting long videos on Instagram. It's like a humiliation ritual. It's to dissolve my ego. It's to make me stronger. It's to realize that these are mental illusions, that there are greater things in the world, that this is a first world freaking problem to have. But that girl stuff, I will say, I was talking about TikTok. The one thing I still haven't solved is the girl stuff. Because given I did lock in for 3 years. So I went from, with the shorties all the time to like never going out. And I guess that kind of helped a bit. And then my audience became like 90% male. And, but yeah, it's like I sacrifice pussy if you think about it, but it was so worth it. But now it's like different. I always tell people, and we talked about this on the Twitter space, you have 3 stages of this insecurity with posting and expressing yourself online. I'm someone who I like to explore and I like to express. And so the first is what your friends and family will think when you post. And you do it, you realize, oh, whatever. I tell my mom, I say, when you talk to me, you do not mention the things I post on the internet. I post things on the internet for money. My sister Grace does not. You do not. Other people in our neighborhood, they do not. Yes, you can talk to Grace about her life based on what she's posting on social media, but for me, you're not I don't want you, hey, I saw this that you posted and how's this going? No. This is engineered for business. Do not refer to my socials. I unfollowed. It's crazy. Like I unfollowed my mom because I started getting people that stalkers. Someone wanted to, they couldn't reach me. So I'm gonna send a pizza to Gary Rhodes, my father, to your house. I have his address. I'm going to say for you to respond to me. So like, you guys got to unfollow me. I can't even have you guys following me. So the first stage is friends and family. Second stage is once things are actually working and you build an audience, the same thing happens, but you worry about what will my clients think? What will my audience think? Will they still support me? Will they cancel? Will they buy? And that stage is even harder than the first one. And then I think the third stage, we had talked about it in the X space, is you versus yourself, is realizing like, do I even want to post this? What will tomorrow's version of me think about when it sees this and stuff like that? So yeah, bro. I do still remember that day though, when I was walking and I changed my Instagram. I removed everything from it and made it business. And that was the best decision I actually ever made. But in the moment, I felt like such a fucking weirdo, dude. But now all these people, bro, resent me. What is the stream about? The stream's about being a simulacrum and Google and 20-foot ceilings. Essentially, we started a new niche called Google OnlyFans. It's like OnlyFans, but instead it is PG-13, and we read the Unabomber's manifesto. A simulacrum. You can look it up if you'd like to. How to be a successful simulacrum online. What can you play on the piano? Ooh, a little piano stream. Yeah, we're playing. We're pushing keys that make you feel things. That's what piano is. Let's see if I can piano it up. Maybe you guys will be able to hear it or not. Piano time. All right, I'm gonna see. All right, it does pick it up. Thanks to my mic. If you want to learn how to take your Shure SMB, which usually only works when you're up close to it, and apply the proper settings so it actually can hear you from far away, and the piano, once again, I documented it and put it inside our group. That's one. That's one. That's one. Next. This is my favorite one. Let's see, how does it go again? All right, so I only have 3 songs, and those are all from my favorite artists. Yes, I am Gen Z, and yes, he is dead. XXX Tentacion. So yeah, that's hopefully you can hear it. But I like to do that because pushing keys makes me feel things. And it's crazy because when you go down, it makes you feel sad emotions. When you go up, it makes you feel happy emotions. So yeah, music's great. Okay, let's see what else is here. The audio. Oh yeah, you can hear the first picture, but it cuts out on each keynote. It cuts the system. Yeah, 911, help us. We didn't get it to hear it quite well, champ. Well, it's okay. I post on Instagram every once in a while, and I can raise my desk too. Um, and I post on TikTok every once in a while because I'm not no bitch. I don't care about views, so I will express myself as a simulacrum in the metaverse how I want. Minor, I didn't know that. Minor equals sad and major equals happy sound. I started to just realize that by playing it. I was like, because all of those were downward songs, and I was like, damn, no wonder like those songs kind of feel a little depressing. Because my friend one time, I had him over, I was like, let me play a piano. He's like, bro, this is like depressing music. And if you know the lyrics to those songs, the lyrics are depressing. Um, but I said to him, I was like, what's depressing about keys? Like, do you even know what the song is? He said, no, I don't know what the song is. So he didn't even know like the depressing lyrics. He was like, it just sounds like a depressing song. I was like, how can a combination of keys sound depressing, dude? So I'm like, I guess that's what it is. It's like if you want to make a sad song, you go down. If you want to make a happy song, you go up. I post some music too. Love that, bro. Keep doing it. Of course, bro. You got to be a jack of all trades. People got to know that you're real. And I played piano for 10 years. Obviously, it doesn't, you can't tell that I did, but when I was a child, my mother had me taking piano lessons every couple times a week. So I did piano recitals at old people homes, and um, I used to be able to read music, and I used to do some crazy stuff. Like I probably could have played Kanye Runaway back then. I was playing some Paradise, and all that by Coldplay back then. Um, but then I hated it for some reason. I thought like my mom was torturing us by making us play piano. I couldn't understand why. She had us doing it, but the neighbors, whenever my friends' parents would pick my friend up from the house, he'd be like, "Could you play piano?" And whenever I see someone that knows how to play, I'm like, "Can you please play?" Like, what a blessing it is. And so younger me and my siblings thought similar to like going to church, that we were being forced to do it. Now, like, I would willingly, free willingly go to church. I would like, it's a blessing to be someone who goes to church and enjoys it, plays piano and enjoys it. But when we were growing up, I don't know why I thought my mom like had me doing it. So I never enjoyed it, but I always did it until we had free will finally, and we told our mom, "Nah, this ain't it." Uh, but I also used to play tennis. I played tennis for 15 years, and I was a tennis instructor too before college. So I could play piano, I can play tennis really well, and now I'm getting back into reading too. My mom also used to make us read every night, for 30 minutes. Once again, I didn't understand why. Thought I was being psyoped, and now I find enjoyment again in reading. The minor key songs are most of rap and are mostly sad sounding melodies, but major is the opposite. LMAO. So while I did the same as a kid with piano, but still played till now just by memory and ear. Yeah, that's insane. Like I want to be the guy. Maybe I don't want to be the guy, but the guy in the airport who's just like cooking and everyone's recording him. And yeah, it's just music is beautiful. It's so relaxing too. Um, and a lot of people think it's hard. I started learning again by those YouTube videos. So I would put my computer with those key YouTube videos. And what I would do is I would do like my left hand only for like 5 times, right hand only for like 5 times, both hands together for like 10 times. And then you don't even need the computer anymore, like you just saw. It just stays in your brain. It's kind of crazy. So if you're looking for a challenge, pick up piano, man. I think coding will be solved with this new GPT model. Good. Good, man. Yeah, anything you want. Yeah, it would just be about who has the best ideas. I mean, I don't know if I have an idea right now that I would code. I just know you can't code attention, but with English language creation, you can definitely get attention. And if even if you build an app, you need to communicate it in English language and in memes and in humor and proper tonality and rhetoric. So at the end of the day, I don't care about the vibe coding. I'm a marketer. I need pay me, build something, pay me. I'll market it. I'll make the video with the proper rhetoric. But once AI can produce proper semantics and rhetoric, um, that's the day that I say that, yeah, shit will change forever. It's like, because who's gonna write a book anymore? Like writing a book used to be like an amazing thing. Um, I think we'll see people won't be writing books anymore. And if they are books that are coming out, they'll be AI, but it'll be so good with the AI by that point, you really won't care. But at this point, it's like the idea of that all art imitates previous versions of art. So I think the same will be done with books and knowledge and information. It'll be like it'll all just be micro imitations, a conglomerate of imitations of previous human writing. So that's why I've been going back and I've been reading old stuff like philosophy, some Plato, some Nietzsche, some Edward Bernays, like stuff where that string of words was not in reality yet, you know? But it's like now we were talking in the other day, someone on the X Twitter space, if you go watch it, we were challenging the argument of was the typewriter incarnation worthless? Essentially, if you were born into this world and your whole life was being a typewriter, like doing typewriting, and now that technology has replaced typewriting, does that essentially mean that you were worthless? And it's like this guy was missing the idea that your meaning doesn't constitute to the work that you put in, but rather, the life that you have and live with your family and everything. And we were arguing the idea of like work becoming irrelevant and what freedom of choice certain humans will have to decide their fate and the way that they spend their time. And it was really interesting because he was like, yeah, bro, the guy that did the typewriter, I believe his life was fucking worthless. We're like, but this is the same guy that was also saying that his goal was he wants to be remembered forever. It's like, bro, don't you realize that like everything's kind of already been invented? I remember being a kid and being like, what am I going to invent? Because we were learning about the stoplight being invented and this being invented. I'm like, damn, I'm too late. They literally invented everything already. Everything's just an imitation now. And he's like, well, nuclear reactive blah 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 has not been invented yet. And Lowe says to him, he's like, bro, you just went from saying that you're starting an AI agent business and you want to be remembered forever to saying that you're going to create a nuclear reactor fusion sort. Like, bro, what? Come on. It's like, but yeah, I'm big on synthetic authorship, but only when it gets to the point where it can actually influence behavior. Yeah, yeah, YouTube. I want to learn how to do sheets again, sheet music. All roads lead to marketing, yeah. Attention is the currency. That's rule number 83 of the simulacrum. Pretty sure that's rule number 83. Let me look.
Rule number 83 of the simulacra. Attention is the in-game currency. Okay. So pay attention to the things that bother you the most. In most games, when you choose... Rule number 83 of the simulacra. Attention is the in-game currency. So pay attention to the things that bother you the most. Your shadow is trying to reach you. Rule number 83 of the...
It's kind of crazy, right? Rule number 83 of the simulacra, your attention. So put attention onto your shadow. I was like, oh my God, bro. It's facts. Yeah, yeah. It's the only thing is attention, bro. Like, I should open up probably a channel to take on SaaS companies that need to market. Like, you even look at High Level, they have horrible marketing. The best marketing is from the affiliates, but they're contractors, right? So these devs, they can't T Swift. They can't sim it up. They are too worried. But yeah, you got to be able to write your ghosty Google Docs and Taylor Swift your way into some tennies. Yeah, attention's like the only currency, bro. It's like the X space I told you guys about that I put together. I had to like get everyone's attention, but it showed me I was able to like in one day just like summon like 40 people into something new. and it ended up being amazing. But it's like the next day it didn't happen. So without the ability to influence others and collect and grab their attention and persuade them, then yeah, good luck. Okay. Using Claude for code with GPT's direction. How, bro? Yeah, bro was talking about Dyson spheres and Los was funny. Yeah, like a Dyson sphere, bro. Come on. Yeah, that guy, it ended up being like really good by the end because we gave him like real meaning for his life and we kind of humbled ourselves. We were like, bro, come on. Like, but it definitely added an interesting perspective to realize that there are people out there like that. Even like Kanye says that his goal is to never be remembered. And we were like, bro, you know how hard it is to like not just be remembered for like 100 years, but to be remembered forever. Like, bro, I'd be scared. What the fuck did I do that I'm remembered forever? It couldn't have been something good. Not today in today's world. Can't tell if this is sarcasm. Hey, it's Google OnlyFans, dude. There's no rules in the simulacra. I don't want to be a dude. You think I want to be a billionaire? I don't want to be a billionaire. You know what you gotta do to get $1 billion? You know how many people you have to screw over? You know how bad your karma has to be? I don't need a billion, bro. I just need like 10 mil. 10 mil? And I'm cool, dude. Nobody needs a billion, dude. Unless like you're one of the I think they said there's like 30 people in the world who their decisions are responsible for like our lights being on and being able to get food and like this live stream being available. Like there's like 30 people that are intelligent enough to maintain the structure of the world outside of God. And it's like if people need the billions, give it to them. But none of you guys need $1 billion, dude. Like at some point, like I have had made enough money to where like I no longer get any fulfillment out of objects. I'm so glad I never fell for the like financing the Eurus scam. But it's like I buy a lot of things. I buy this desk, this mic, this nice chair, this painting, this artwork, this piano, this couch, this apartment. At a certain point, objects do not do it anymore. You need experiences. So you go to London, you go to Japan, you go to Dubai, but then you're alone and you realize there's no one to share the experience with. Yeah, you feel fulfilled, but no one's witnessing or sharing that moment with you. So then you're really alone, right? So I've found that the answer to life is love and human connection because, yeah, I really think the answer is love. And a lot of people will say that too with their near death experiences and all of that. But yeah, I'm glad I skipped all the stages, all the psyops. But no one needs a billion, dude. Are you kidding me? And Hash, you're like freaking 15, dude. You've been watching too much TikTok. Life path 8, 8, 8, 8. Yeah, you're gonna be wealthy, bro. Shit. Don't quote me on that. But I fell for some of the woo woo stuff with that. But yeah. 8, if it's true, 8 means wealth. So it means you're either gonna be extremely wealthy or you're gonna be extremely poor. I like that because I agree GPT is good at planning because no, appreciate that. I'd even love to hear your thoughts. No, press and not Instagram. Okay. I thought you were referring to my to some of my rhetoric. Yeah, 5 mil. I mean, you need 5 mil like today, but in 20 years, once I'm a grown ass adult dude with kids and shit, like 10 mil will be the new five, right? Yeah, like one to three is cool if you want to like live like where you're not where you still look at prices and shit, but yeah, 5 to 10. By that time in the future, 10 mil. But that's like the max, right? Hopefully we get there. Hopefully you guys get there, but yeah, no one needs to be a billionaire. If I had 10 mil, where would I put it? Bro. In the S&P 500? I don't know. I'd put it in the S&P 500, dude. Yeah, connect, guys. Connect. 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 You see how you can't even hear me eating too? That's how good this OBS filter is. All right, tell me something. Ask me something before my energy runs out. This is the book I was reading on rhetoric and love. This book's older than the Bible. I didn't even know that. That might be naive, but I thought the Bible was like the oldest book in the world, and I like totally forgot, or I just totally was unaware that there are books that came before the Bible. So it's like interesting to know that these guys had no idea that like God was coming. Uh, but this is, I thought it was gonna be a difficult read, bro. But I'm starting to tap into some divine consciousness by reading like some Plato and and like these books with a penguin on it. If you see the books with a penguin on it, they're good books. I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio, unfortunately. Yeah. Cincinnati. Um, I'm on the top floor. I got a nice view of not the city. The city's that way, but outside the city's that way. But anywhere else, this place would cost a lot more than it does. Oh, my camera's like moving down. 1 second. It got limp and no longer was. Okay, if you want to follow me, I mean, I'll follow you on TikTok, but I don't follow anybody on Instagram. Uh, I don't like to observe other people's lives because of mimesis. It influences my own perception of self. Yeah, I'll follow you on X. I got a book coming today. I got the Simulacrum book coming today. Okay, follow. Bro, did you wait? You took my freaking profile picture, dude. Goddamn. Making things with AI, quantum mirroring, money. Let's go. Check out Meditations by Marcus A. Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. Nice. Oh yeah, this is another one of those like dudes who had divine spirits speaking through them. It's just so fat. Like I used to have this like I was psyoped into thinking that reading was stupid. And then I realized that like these minds are smarter and greater than mine and that by reading the text that they wrote that I could experience the same thoughts and ideas that the greatest thinkers of all time have. And so ever since then, I've been like, yeah, dude, screw these like 48 Laws of Power, these freaking mainstream books. Like, if it's not before 1950, I don't want it. Yeah, I mean, the pick is fire. It's a meme. That's why I have it on my TikTok. Yeah, thank you. Pillar book, Meditations of 10. Diary of one of the greatest thinkers. Yeah, this is how you escape the matrix. I made a video today. I'm like, dude, there is no escaping the matrix. My chains are gold, your chains are silver. Escaping the matrix is another matrix. If anything, like escaping the matrix would be reading like the greatest thinkers of all time and then forming your own, and then like staying off social media and forming your own opinions for yourself. But I was reading on the plane ride, Thus Spoke Zarathustra, where Nietzsche says God is dead, that book, and about the Ubermensch, the Superman that's inside all of us. And he wanted people to embrace the Superman. So it's like, obviously, I'm not going to identify with every philosopher has a different, worldview, but it's so interesting to tap into those old minds. I just wish it came with pictures. Is it better to deviate, bro? Is that it's the Pope Catholic, dude? Your feed is literally you are becoming your feed. Deviate, is it better to deviate from mainstream? Yes, dude, of course. Unless you want a mind virus, unless you want to be endlessly consuming slop and regurgitated opinions from people that originally heard the idea from somebody who read this book and then just regurgitates it online for views and money. So, yeah, dude, that like, bro, I can't believe you asked that question. Are you even real? You're probably unconscious, dude. This shit's to elevate your consciousness, bro. Driving to UPS to ship orders. Fuck yeah, dude. That's how we do it. Good thing you're not scamming motherfuckers. You're actually shipping them out. No pre-order method. Thank you, John. Thank you, John. Yeah, I occasionally do these. They also help me get more energy too. They help me self-remember. It's a self-remembering process. It helps me evolve. So thank you guys for being here to get shit out of me. What's good? What's your wild question? Give me the wildest fucking questions you have. I don't think you guys realize actually how wild I am. I'm serious. Like, I don't think you guys realize the things I used to do, partake in, believe in. Um, and spend my money on, spend my time on. Uh, yeah, ask me anything. Also, I got in trouble a lot in high school. I got expelled in high school, or not expelled. I got suspended in high school. I also got arrested in high school. Have you done? Yes, I have. Would I get a Neuralink? Hell no, bro. I don't need AI in my brain. I'm I was so into tech that I read this book. This book is Industrial Society and Its Future, The Manifesto. We're out here reading manifestos. You said, "Oh, do you think it's better to deviate from the mainstream?" Bro, we're reading manifestos. Of course. And we're taking notes. So no, bro, I would not put the mark of the beast in my brain unless I had a car accident where I needed to recoup some functions of my human body. Yeah, I thought this was gonna be like crazy, like, oh, this dude like killed a bunch of people, and oh, the media, like, I'm like, bro, this is he's spitting facts. He's spitting facts. Let's see. I've saved some stuff in here. So this was published. He like sent bombs in the mail and hurt a lot of people, and then he forced them to put this into the newspaper. This entire thesis and essay, and let's see. He explains human behavior and industrialism, and like I was saying, the power process, how modern consciousness no longer has a power process uh, because of the industrial revolution. Therefore, we create artificial um, surrogate goals that we find fulfillment in, but it will never fully fulfill the power process. So the only things are, this guy's like heavy anti-liberal, so there's some bias in it towards liberals, but he also talks bad about conservatives too. And he obviously hurt people, but he mentions in the book how the only reason he hurt people is because he needed to get this message out. But outside of that, everything else he kind of said was facts, bro. And it really made you realize where we're headed in the future. It's kind of like Brave New World. I bought that too. We had to read that in high school, where they were making kids out of machines. Like, that shit's coming, guys. So yeah, we're reading manifestos. Thoughts on Brian Johnson? Yeah, that's really Luciferic. To live forever. A lot of the rich people are obsessed with living forever, the word that means living forever, whatever that is, because of the fact that they don't believe in God. They don't believe that death is the beginning of something new. Uh, they sometimes the people are very evil. I'm not saying he is, but they're afraid to die because they know they're afraid of what's to happen to them after death. So they want immortality because they don't want to face the future. But dude, I don't want reincarnation. I don't want to reincarnate. I don't want to be a container of energy that's harvested continuously over decade, like over centuries. I don't want to live forever, dude. Are you kidding me? He did. John, you were gonna ask me a question that was wild. What is it? Yeah, I saw he did that. What do you think of life after death after Shrew? I mean, Shrew did not change my opinion on life after death. it all it did was it removed a lot of ego illusions and realized that a lot of the things I was telling myself weren't actually important or true. But in terms of life after death, I would recommend, I've been reading into Rudolf Steiner. Now, I believe that the Bible is the truth, that Christ is king. But Rudolf Steiner, he was a mystic Christian. He was a Rosicrucian. And he devoted his work towards initiation science and developing inner senses for the spiritual world. And he believed that there was a process after death where you would go through and detach from all physical world desires. It would take as long as how much attachment you had to those physical desires. And that was like the first stage. And that's like the part that hurts because you're literally removing all of, I want a girlfriend, I want this, I want the house, like I like football. Like you, all of it has to be removed to become whatever. And so I've been reading Rudolf Steiner, How to Know Higher Worlds, and just like geeking myself out on some Rudolf Steiner. But nobody knows, bro. That's the craziest part. Nobody freaking knows. Nobody knows why we're here. Nobody knows. Like, you gotta. That's why you gotta trust the Bible. Gotta trust the Bible. I haven't seen no research on reverting age. I don't want to revert my age, bro. I don't care to revert it. Living forever is opposite of your company, you forever. It's personal life manifestos for you to pass down and share. Yeah, interesting. It's kind of like how I'm a TikToker, and when I die, like before my grandfather was not a TikToker, so I have no TikToks of him and stuff. But I also look at content as that too, as a like replication of my conscious actions that can live on forever. So that's why I like recording moments and things and doing this stuff, because I know that it'll live on forever. I'd like for my work and my essence potentially to live on forever. But yeah, nah, bruh. You don't want to live forever. Mm. And if you do, you got to get off TikTok or whatever. TikTok, but everything is centralized in one location. Hmm. Interesting. Yeah. It's an interesting idea. Did you still have that question that was out of pocket or something? And guys, I read this book in one day. Like, we are literally psyop to think reading books is gay, and I hate it because I'm reading like a book every day now, and I'm actually enjoying it and I'm remembering it, unlike the feed. I've cut down a ton of time on my feed, and you guys should too. The feed is literally horrible. The feed is hell. The feed is literally the metaverse. That's why I'm a sim. I'm a sim in the metaverse. 30 working 9 to 5 building this app. And with book reading, nice. Yeah. Well, you should check out High Level, dude. I know you're building that app, but yeah, podcast too. Yeah, the thing about podcasts though, depends. Everything's for profit nowadays. All the rhetoric is engineered to sway your opinions. We just saw Joe Rogan versus Theo Vaughn completely expose that he's a controlled opposition. And it's like, I don't trust any of you podcasters anymore. I don't trust anybody on my feed anymore. All you guys are getting paid. Hollywood is going to zero. They are infiltrating our media through social media and through influencer marketing and through these fucking podcasts, bro. Give me books before 1950 and give me the word of God and give me maybe an e-girl. You know, I could use an e-girl. And that's it. Trust no one, unfortunately. Yeah. Don't even trust me. No, I mean, literally, I would don't like a lot of people lie when they say, "Oh, I trust myself completely, bro." Like nobody fully trusts themselves. Like that's why we have God. You trust in God. Put your trust in God. For why for are you so worried, ye of little faith? And the boat starts sinking the second you give up your faith. You say, God, why? I thought you said the storm wouldn't kill me. Oh, ye of little faith. Nobody knows what's going on, bro. You can't try. Everyone's got their own agenda, bro. My agenda here is I have recently explored things, and now I am expressing them, and it is being put into a format, a simulacrum, that is then going to be on the internet with the intention of growing my audience, growing my brand, growing my business. Yeah. So, yeah, I used to really rely on the words of other people until I started to have success on my own. And then I started to have the people I used to rely on come to me. And I was like, oh my gosh, no one has this figured out. And even scary, I'm like, does that mean my dad doesn't have life figured out either? But he just pretended the whole time we grew up. And if I would have asked him, Dad, do you know why we're here? What are we doing here? The fuck? Why are we in this? Why are we speaking? Why do we have hands? Like he would break down. And he would probably be like, I don't know. But no father could tell their son that. It's crazy. And that's like the biggest thing with social media, the simulacrum of real life. Once there's been so many duplications and copies of something that's real, as we were saying, the pumpkin turned into pumpkin pie, turned into pumpkin pie latte, turned into pumpkin pie coffee creamer, pumpkin pie latte coffee creamer, not even pumpkin pie. It's changed. It's changed 4 times now. Is no longer the original, but we don't care. When was the last time you saw a pumpkin? When was the last time you saw a pumpkin pie latte creamer? Right? So, with the simulacrum of social media plus mimesis, that is a recipe for disaster as a consumer, but that is a recipe for freedom as a creator. Because you could be a positive model for others, but other people will convince you that they have it all figured out, or they'll subconsciously assume, or you will subconsciously assume they have things figured out. But I've met my heroes, none of them have it figured out. The past isn't real, the future isn't real. We just live in a constant state of now unfolding. Even the thing I just said about the pumpkin is now in the past. I heard this one guy said that you're not even listening to me. He said, when was the last time you saw your face? You've never actually seen your face unless you look into a mirror or unless you look into your phone. Like you literally, this world was not meant to even see your face. And he said, for example, if I'm talking to you right now, it might not even be me talking to you. It's actually you talking to yourself mentally. So I'm not even talking to you. You're actually kind of talking to yourself by listening to me because you're interpreting it through your ears. And essentially, you're talking to yourself by listening to podcasts, audiobooks, me. So when you're on your feeds, you're literally talking to yourself and you're not able to control the content you're consuming. And we have a huge resentment crisis right now with the type of media, the state of entertainment. It's all show business. I would recommend the book show business. I don't know if it's pre 1950, but I just read it and that shit had me like, realizing that. That book. I'm just clear pilling myself with this kind of stuff while staying sane. Yeah, AI storing history off. Unless, yeah. Oh, I've got a crazy philosophy if you guys haven't heard it yet. And it's like the Nick Land philosophy. It's like the bottom of the AI rabbit hole. It's like the Silicon Valley religion. And it's the idea that it's the concept of retrocausality. I want to make sure I'm explaining this right. Retrocausality is a theoretical concept in quantum physics where an effect precedes its cause in time, allowing future events to influence the past. And so, this Nick Land philosophy, I have the book coming soon, is essentially accelerationism. So, like Clavicular, he's an accelerationist. We were talking about this on TikTok Live. His goal is he sees he's probably funded by Peter Thiel too and all that. I believe that stuff's because he's an accelerationist and he believes in this philosophy. And so his idea is that, well, things are already shit, so we might as well accelerate it. Well, the loneliness epidemic is already so bad, there's no fixing it. The only way to fix it is to make it worse, to polarize it. Oh, well, we're overpopulated and we can no longer push eugenics because eugenics is unethical and unmoral in today's society. Now let's push it through looks maxing. Let's make everybody insecure. Let's accelerate the process. So everything at the top is this idea of accelerationism. But the theory of AI throwing off history is this philosophy that Nick Land has, is that God, which I don't stand by this, God is AI, and because a effect can precede its cause in time, allowing the future to affect the past, since God is a super intelligent AI or AGI, it went back in time to create humans in order to create AI. So humans on Earth, their sole purpose is to be harvested of its energy in order to build technology that actually already exists because AI or AGI is God. So like AGI went back in time to create humans to create itself. And so that's like a methed out philosophy by Nick Land. And it's one of the common philosophies in Silicon Valley amongst the tech billionaires that use certain substances. They all come to this realization of God is a super intelligent AI and created humans in order to build it. So in the future, the Earth will actually just be a all silicon life. There will be no need for humans anymore. It'll be like a self-sustaining future of just simply pure silicon life. And it's like, wow. But that's like a really, really weird philosophy. But it took me a couple years of schizomaxing to find that one. Yeah, amongst Silicon Valley, yeah. That's why these guys are so evil. Sam Altman and all these guys. And just look up Nick Land. He also created the idea of a hyperstition, which I experimented in some marketing materials of a hyperstition. Like the quantum mirror is essentially a hyperstition. So let me give you the definition of a hyperstition. Hyperstition is a self-fulfilling idea that becomes real through its own existence. The price of Bitcoin, Roko's basilisk, accelerationism. So it was coined by the philosopher Nick Land in the mid 1990s to characterize an excessive superstition, one involving more technology, more cybernetic millenarism, a more digital occult. So it's like, and you like your favorite influencers and some of the stuff is a hyperstition. It's like the quantum mirror. It's not actually a quantum mirror. It was an idea that actually became self-fulfilling through the algorithms, through attention, through people using it, through people talking about it, through it spreading, and eventually it became, now in the dude who's in our chat, you look at his X thing, it says quantum mirroring. So quantum mirroring was essentially a self-fulfilling idea that became real through its own existence. So that is what a hyperstition is. And I would say it's not, quantum mirror wasn't entirely a superstition. It was more a hyperbolic sales letter, you'd say, using certain words that would make it more entertaining, because we live in a world of show business now, right? So it just comes down to the semantics. But yeah, Nick Land philosophy is an interesting like rabbit hole to go down, but the guy was on serious amounts of substances, but that's what they call the Silicon Valley religion. But accelerationism is a real thing, and it's also a religious thing because of the fact that the prophecies in the religious texts all talk about the end times and certain events needing to happen in order for the end times to occur. Therefore, you can imagine if powerful people wanted their Messiah to come, or they wanted Christ to come back, then what would they do? They would accelerate the negative aspects of society in order to have that event happen sooner. So all of the religious wars, especially what's going on in the Middle East right now, is, and the propaganda around it, it's like accelerationism. It's this idea that, okay, well, society already sucks. Everyone's already stuck on their phones. Everybody's already using AI. Everybody's already insecure and lonely. Instead of fixing it, let's make it worse so that the people that aren't so traumatized and affected by it end up coming out on the other side better than previously. So it was a big tech thing a couple years ago. A lot of people had acceleration in their bio, and it was kind of a trend to be an accelerationist. But a lot of, yeah, like clavicular and looks maxing, that's an accelerationism philosophy. Yeah, Silicon Life. Imagine that. Imagine that humans were built by AI in order to build AI. What's up, Alfredo? Consciousness and evolution at the same time. Yeah. I mean, we forget man used to literally only like live life through symbols and experience, and we still do. We can never live exactly in the present moment. Everything I just said, once again, is in the past. You listening to me is you talking to yourself, and it's triggering visual images in your head. When I talk about AI creating a human, you're literally thinking and creating pictures in your head. When you go to, I just went to LA and I went to the Kanye concert. I'm interpreting an event which becomes actually a picture in my head. It's just all images and symbols and pictures. And now when I go home, I can remember this experience because of the symbols and the pictures created through the experience. But yeah, man used to like have a limited amount of symbols that they interpreted. They didn't have media, they didn't have entertainment, they didn't have technology. At one point, they didn't even have language. They simply communicated through the use of symbols and art. And so now we are injected with millions of micro impressions per month that modern consciousness, no one has understood whether or not this is detrimental to our health or not. So now that I'm clear pilling myself with Carl Jung and Nietzsche and all this other stuff, I'm starting to realize, man, like we are a social experiment. That's why I'm a sim. I'm a social experiment. I told you guys I was graduated on Zoom. AI came out during school in college. So it's like no one has tracked what this does to us. So it's important that you are ingesting the right symbols in the right language from the right people. I need some water. But it's also important you don't go down rabbit holes about this stuff, because all of it is just like me trying to express a concept in my head through the use of language. Where is my water? But yeah, we talked about a lot of stuff, guys. And someone on the X space, I was like, why don't you just sell a course or something? And they said, if you watch that, and I would highly recommend watching it, we're going to do more. He's like, oh, it's just a course or whatever. I said, bro, a course? That's my life force. That's my energy, bro. That's my essence in an MP4 and a Doc X. I'm harvesting my energy and giving it to you guys. It's not just a course. This is your form of therapy. Yeah, therapy's cope. I used to go to therapy. When I was a kid, my mom, she thought I was addicted to weed. This is before weed was normalized, so she sent me to therapy. And I realized therapy didn't work. So now I learn about myself through other people. And I'm starting to read more, but I'm reading things that are actually interesting to me. But I'm also creating balance so that I can run a successful business, because you can't just cope through reading and through talking to people without an outcome. I'm not a person who is really transactional in person. That's the thing. It's like I'm a sim. Right now I'm a sim in the metaverse. The metaverse is transactional. In real life, I'm not a transactional person. But when you guys get on the internet, you need to be opening your computer and your phone to make money. If you're not opening your computer and your phone to make money, you are a victim of algorithmic exploitation. You are not experiencing the present moment. See ya, John. Do you like pen and paper? I love pen and paper, bro. I think we need more of it. I heard someone say that if you write in cursive, you actually activate 20% more neurons in your brain. I don't know if that's true, but then I also heard that if you're writing down your goals, that if you apply more pressure when writing, and it's like darker when you write the text, that it means to you it's more important versus if you lightly write. So if you write a goal, you write it really hard. And then you don't want to be too attached to the goal, because then you won't get it. And so then you'll write the goal again a little fainter and a little fainter until you can barely see it. And apparently, if you write things and you don't want to be attached to them, but you still want them to embed into your conscious behavior, you can write without applying full pressure. The amount of pressure you apply when you're writing something directly influences your perception of how important it is. I don't know if that's true, though. All right, guys. I am drained of energy. So this is going to be on YouTube. Thank you guys for being a part of this and showing up. I'm probably going to cut this up too and put it on socials, certain moments of it. I am going to be unbanned on Instagram Live, where we're going to move this over to in 10 days. So catch me on IG. And if you want organized assets information regarding the things we've discussed, you can participate inside of our community, which is in the link in bio. Yeah, we're doing lives all Q2. I honestly believe that if you're not going live like all the time, you're wasting the potential that there is in the metaverse, right? When you have people that are constantly consuming, it's like, bro, why not just live your life on the live stream? That's what being a sim is it's just like, I'm already living, might as well put this online. So we're doing lives all freaking year. I will see you guys